Stations, if you encounter any technical issues related to this Georgia football broadcast, please call our trouble hotline at 336-831-0861. Mark 2 minutes until airtime for this Georgia football game broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 1 minute until airtime for today's Georgia football game broadcast. Stations, we are coming up on 1 minute until airtime. 1 minute in 5, 4, 3, 2. Mark, 1 minute, stations. 1 minute until airtime for this Georgia football game broadcast. Studio producers, when you hear touchdown, please start your archive recording. Coming up on 30 seconds until airtime. Mark, 30 seconds. Your next and final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Touchdown! Studios, start your archive recording. Coming up on 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds, stations. Have fun.
The following is a presentation of the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Gentlemen, good afternoon. Dogs need that kind of toughness in every game in this league.
Your emotions are as sky high as they ever will be.
It's not just another game.
And he's a big play kind of guy.
A terrific day of football ahead.
This is the NAPA Tailgate Show.
And the fans are ready for it.
Take out your Richter scales because Georgia is going to run out of the tunnel.
On the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network. Welcome to the NAPA Auto Parts Tailgate Show. Quality parts, helpful people. That's NAPA know-how. The NAPA Auto Parts Tailgate Show is brought to you in part by Kroger, fresh for everyone. Georgia's own credit union, banking on purpose. Georgia Farm Bureau, always the home team. And by Georgia United Credit Union. Score your official Bulldogs debit card today at gucu.org/GoDogs. Now to the Scana Energy stage. Here's Neil Hondo Williamson.
Bennett, handoff. Zamir, he's got the first down and more, stumbling, keeping his balance. 15, 10, 5, touchdown. That's a way to pick up a first down on 4th and 1.
The rivalry commenced in 1904 with a contest easily won in Macon by Georgia. 6 more times over the following 23 years, Georgia and Florida squared off on the gridiron, and the Dogs won them all. In fact, so overwhelming was UGA superiority that the Gators managed to score points in just one of the first 7 meetings between the border rivals. Today from Jacksonville, with the SEC East and a trip to the conference championship game likely hanging in the balance, Georgia and Florida will wage football war for the 99th time in the series. The Gators arrive with a potent 42 points per game offense. Our beloved Bulldogs hope to counter with the SEC's top defense. depleted as it may be. Hello, Bulldog Nation, and welcome to the NAPA Tailgate Show. We're broadcasting from our Scana booth overlooking TIA Bank Field. Joining me are the voice of the Dogs, Scott Howard, one of the greatest passers in SEC history, Eric Zier, and Bulldogs polymath, Lauren Smith. Good day, gentlemen. I would imagine for today's showdown, it didn't take much to get your game face on.
No, but where's everybody else's game face? It's just such a bizarre atmosphere down here, Neil, as we all experienced coming. Usually we all come into the stadium. It doesn't matter what time we get here. You can get here at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the parking lot's full, and the RV camp is full, and the flags are flying, and the grills are cooking, and everything is going on. There's none of that.
None of it.
There's some employee cars in the parking lot, for today's event, and then the big wrestling event tonight.
Yeah.
But it's
some lady out there microwaving
so
macaroni
surreal.
And cheese, right?
It's just very relaxed and calm in the press box, and it's just a weird sensation. But we've got our game faces on. We're ready for some football, to see what our team looks like. I mean, at this point, we really don't know what it's going to look like when we take the field in a few hours.
Yeah, no doubt. Everything is different. All that you just said there, Scott, you even look down on the field, and typically you have the end zones painted in red and black and orange and blue. None of that this time as the Jags play tomorrow. And so you've got Jacksonville scripted across both end zones. Really the only sign of Georgia versus Florida is you've got the two small little emblems, one for Georgia, one for Florida there in midfield. Of course, the banners are up around the stadium right now in typical Georgia and Florida fashion, but completely different atmosphere as it's been all year long. So the teams are going to come in here. There's going to be plenty of excitement. There's a lot of hatred between these two teams and so much on the line that the emotion will be there amongst the teams. But, boy, a completely different feel down in Jacksonville this week.
Well, Georgia crossed the border yesterday, absent several impact defensive players, headlined by the glaring void of All-American safety Richie LeCount.
It really hurt my heart because I know that Richard loves his team. He loves football. He loves what he does. He loves being a leader. And I know it hurts him to be in his position, not being able to just be out here with the guys. I mean, I know he's going to be sad about the game Saturday and missing his time.
Those guys work really hard for those opportunities, and I look forward to seeing them play, to be honest with you. That's what they came to Georgia to do, to play in some of these big games. And we'll have some guys that have to step up, play more snaps, put a greater burden on some of the guys that are already playing, probably play more snaps in regards to that.
That's Coach Kirby Smart, preceded by offensive tackle Jamari Salyer. We are down men for sure, but perhaps not as many as first anticipated during the Kentucky game, when at one point the field looked like the wounded scene from Gone with the Wind, in the Battle of Atlanta. It was just bodies scattered as the camera panned back. Scott Howard, give us an update on the Bulldogs MASH report, please.
Okay, well, you mentioned Richard LeCount. He's not playing today. Richie was released from the hospital after his motorcycle accident last week, so that was good news, and hopefully he's on the road to recovery real soon, and our best to him. But Julian Rochester will be out today. Suffered an ACL injury in the Kentucky game. He was one of the wounded last week in the win over Kentucky. Don't really expect Jordan Davis to go today, although that was not official from anybody to me, but we're not likely to see George Pickens today. He was not injured last week. He didn't play last week. And Kenny McIntosh is another one that will likely miss today's game. And some of the guys that were hurt last week that we hope to see today include Quay Walker and Lewis Seen and Tyreek Stevenson. And so hopefully those guys are back. And there were a few guys that were already hurt leading into Kentucky. I mean, Monty Rice has been playing injured. DJ Daniel has kind of gone light duty. He's been on the field a little bit, but not a lot taking snaps. Mm-hmm. And I think that might be about it.
Oh, is that all?
I'm sure there's one or two others.
Well, it's just unbelievable. We knew attrition was going to be a part of this season. When you go 10 weeks of SEC football, the depth was going to play such an important role. And just because of some of the nuances of the season, what makes today such an amazing challenge for this Georgia football team is the fact that you've got a Florida football team that's played one football game in the past 3 weeks. They had two back-to-back off weeks because of COVID protocols. So they are coming into this football team rested, relaxed, really ready to go. We're coming in really with a makeshift team. It's almost put together because of the of all the injuries we've had. What was already going to be a very challenging football game because of how well the University of Florida is playing. It just got that much more difficult here today because of all of those injuries and because of the amount of rest that the University of Florida's had coming into this game.
One guy I did forget to mention because he was on offense. Most of those injuries were on defense. Was Ben Cleveland. He didn't play in the second half last week. Warren Erickson came in and filled in nicely in that right guard spot. Hopefully we'll see Ben today in some manner, some form, taking some snaps.
Wow. Okay. Well, should today's clash come down to a showdown of quarterbacks, then on paper Florida holds a significant advantage with Kyle Trask under center for the Gators.
You have some quarterbacks in our league who have experienced and have seen everything, and you see the maturation of quarterbacks as they play against teams, and they've seen that look, and they've seen, that two trap, that quarters, that quarter half, that man, that extra overload blitz. They've seen it, and so they know how to attack it.
Stetson Bennett has struggled, meanwhile, particularly with turnovers the past 2 games for the Dogs. Still, the former walk-on gets the nod with Coach Smart and many teammates, including Zamir White.
I'm real confident because I see what we do every day in practice with Stetson in practice and alignment and everybody else.
In terms of quarterback play, we're aligned perfectly. We talk about it each week. We talk about it before each game. We talk about it after each practice and talk about where guys are, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and how we think their strengths can benefit our game plan.
Coach Smart talking about he and Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator, being in concert with their quarterback decisions. Eric Zier, what do Stetson and the Dogs offense need to do to keep pace with Florida's high-octane attack?
Well, one thing I think we need to eliminate is this idea of trying to keep pace with Kyle Trask and this Gator offense. I think we're just simply outmanned. But what we can go do, if you're Stetson Bennett, stay within the game plan, control the football, understand even though it's depleted because of injury, you still have one of the best defenses in the entire country. Protect the football. If there's one thing over the past couple of weeks, we've already mentioned it a couple of times on the show, that has put us into some challenging spots and created a game against Kentucky that shouldn't have been as close as it was. And then obviously Alabama, where it got away from us in the end, is the turnover. So protect the football. We have to stay true to our identity and make this a good old-fashioned street fight, go win ugly, because Kyle Trask is in complete control of this Gator offense. He's got weapons galore around him. They've been explosive really across the board. He's throwing the football very well. Getting into a track meet is not what we want to do today. If we do that, it's going to be very similar to what happened against Alabama or what happened against LSU last year. We've got to stay patient, run the football, and be more physical than this Gator team.
All right, through 4 games, Kyle Trask, 18 touchdown passes. That's the most of any quarterback in SEC history through 4 games. And that includes a collection of quarterbacks at Florida that includes 3 Heisman Trophy winners and 1 runner-up. The Florida defense marshaled its finest performance of the season last week in a blowout of Missouri. Scott Howard, tell us a little about the Gators' day.
Well, they've struggled a little bit. They've been without some guys in their 4 games thus far. They got a key component back last week in their win over Missouri, Kyrie Campbell, one of their big offensive linemen. They lose Zachary Carter today for the first half because of that halftime fight between Missouri and Florida last week. So he misses the first half. He's been racking up some pretty good numbers. They don't have a lot of interceptions. They only have 1 pick all season long. And there's really not anything when you look at their numbers that, wow, you raise your eyebrows, open your eyes big and wide, and say, wow, they're really good at that. They did have a pretty good performance last week in their win over Missouri, and it's almost like they're trying to get some traction now 4 games into the season. So, I think Georgia should be able to run the football on these guys today. Obviously, Florida's focus is going to be stopping Georgia's run and making Georgia try to pass the football, and our coaches and our team certainly aware of that. And we know we're going to have to pass the football to have success today. So I think Georgia can do some things with this Florida defense. It's not as good as we've seen in previous years down here.
Yeah, so Florida defensively right now, they're 6th in the SEC in scoring defense, 6th in rushing defense, 12th in the league right now in passing defense as well. So not the juggernaut defense that you're used to seeing. All of the talent right now and the explosiveness really coming on the offensive side of the football, but you don't want to get lulled into this idea of, hey, we're going to go blow for blow with this Florida team. I really think for the Dogs to have a chance at winning today, and I think we're coming in behind the 8 ball a little bit because of all the injuries that we've had and how fresh this Florida team is. For us to go win today, we have to take the fight to the Gators from the opening whistle, stay true to our identity, even though the Gators have struggled some in the passing game. Don't get lulled into that, because if this becomes a high-octane, fast-paced game, it really plays into the Gators' strengths and where they want to be. We've got to look very much, maybe not as quite like it as it was against Kentucky last week, but more along those lines.
You don't want it that ugly?
We don't want it quite that ugly.
I'll take ugly.
Listen,
I'll take it.
Winning ugly in this game, you'll take it all day long, but we're going to have to be more balanced, ultimately, is what I'm saying there today against Florida. But you want it. You want it old-fashioned, grind it out. You do that, your chances of victory today, if you're a Dogs fan, goes way up.
Well, the odds are that the winner in today's game will have not just a front row for the SECs, but certainly be an odds-on favorite to return, if it's Georgia, to the SEC championship game for the 4th straight season, and if it's Florida, to unseat us for the first time in several years. However, only a select 9,000 or so fans from each school will be allowed admission. There will be an aesthetic peculiarity for sure with this game today. How much do you think that will affect the players, Eric?
Listen, I think players on both sides have had to adjust to this already. I think coming down here, it is a dramatically different feel than what you've got where you're at somebody's home stadium and you've got all of the crowd noise and the other ambiance that is tied into the football game. So it's going to be unique today. But the players have been through this now a number of times, so they've got at least the expectation of what it's going to feel like. Again, once that whistle blows, I think the emotion of the football game, how much is on the line, players on both sides understands that the winner of this football game has the inside track into Atlanta and a potential SEC championship. So I think the emotions will be there, but it is dramatically different from what we've already talked about. So when you step out in pregame warm-ups, it's going to feel like a spring game, as it really has all year long.
All year long, yeah. All right, very good, gentlemen. Thank you. Our Bulldogs have whipped the Gators 3 straight by a combined score of 102-43. With a victory today, we'll take a 2-game lead in the East over Florida, even if it's an ugly win, as our fellas have said here, even if it's by the margin of a skinny point. This is the NAPA Tailgate Show. We're here practically up until kickoff. Quality parts, helpful people, that's NAPA know-how. The birthday boy, Tony Schiavone, is our producer-engineer. And man, does Tony have a big event next door to us tonight with AEW Dynamite. We will chat with Mr. Schiavone about that later in our show. Chris Schiavone lends a hand here in Jacksonville, and Zach Jewell, Mr. Reliable, back in the studio, is our producer. It's number 5 Georgia, number 8 Florida. Drink will flow and blood will spill just after 3:30 on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
With thousands of locally owned NAPA stores across the nation, chances are that wherever you call home, we do too. And that's why you can find us in big cities, small towns, and everywhere in between, doing what we've always done to help keep our local communities moving forward. So whether you stop by a NAPA Auto Parts store, Auto Care Center, or visit us at NAPA online, you can count on NAPA know-how.
Hey, Dog fans. Coach Kirby Smart here. Do you have a game plan for flu season? Get ahead of the competition by getting a flu shot at Piedmont. It's the smart thing to do. Stop by any Piedmont primary care, quick care, or urgent care location and stay healthy all season long. Visit piedmont.org/UGA to learn more and book online. Piedmont Healthcare. More ways to better.
Don't go anywhere. The Dogs are coming right back. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
I never thought I'd be talking about the D word, but now she's hired an attorney and I can't ignore it anymore. I need to prepare.
This is Lee Merriweather. At Merriweather & Tharp, we know the importance of preparation when facing a divorce. It's critical to gather and analyze information. If you're facing a divorce, call for a free phone consultation with one of our attorneys.
This is Bob Tharp. You have questions. Now there's one place to find the answers you need. Merriweather & Tharp, with offices throughout Atlanta, helping clients through difficult times.
1545 Peachtree Street, 678-879-9000. TheAtlantaDivorceTeam.com.
Getting back to business means giving customers the confidence to walk through your doors. At Surf Pro, we're doing just that with certified Surf Pro Clean. Our proactive cleaning program helps reduce the spread of viral pathogens, adheres to CDC standards, and uses proprietary EPA-approved disinfectants. Put the certified Surf Pro Clean Shield in your window and let customers know that you're committed to a higher standard of clean. For a free quote, call 1-800-SURF-PRO or visit surfpro.com. Franchising or independently owned and operated.
We're counting you down to kickoff for the inside track on today's game.
28, 20, 10, 5, give him 6, touchdown!
Here's more from the crew on the NAPA Tailgate Show.
They work on the far hash, moving right. They're in blue. Georgia's in white. Play fake Trask. Here comes pressure. We're going to get him. Aziz Ojulari have a snack back on the 32.
Vintage Aziz from 2019 against these very same Gators that we'll face today. The NAPA Tailgate Show continues with Scott, Eric, Lauren, and your old buddy Hondo here on the radio. And now presented by Primerica. Primerica, the only company positioned to make the maximum impact on Main Street families. Here's Lauren Smith. Is Lauren supposed to do this live? Yes. Okay, I thought we were on tape. And Lauren's in the back, so I'm going to do a little soft shoe for you folks. Okay. And Lauren's here. Remind you that this is the NAPA Tailgate Show. Quality parts, helpful people. That's NAPA know-how. Lauren, you ready?
Yes. Ready. Right. Our Primerica Player of the Week, redshirt sophomore running back Zamir White, a native of Laurinburg, North Carolina, posted a career high of 26 carries for 136 yards for a 5.2 average and scored his 6th touchdown of the year during Georgia's 14-3 win at Kentucky. White led an offensive attack that ran the ball 43 times in 57 total plays for 215 yards. Georgia's opening TD drive featured all running plays, 12 total, and covered 86 yards in 5.6 minutes. I got it right? During the drive, White ran 7 times for 38 yards to set the game's tone. So Zamir White needs to have a big day today like last week.
All right. Thank you, Lauren, very much. Can Georgia cut down on the mistakes that have plagued the Dogs' offense the past couple of weeks? And can we tally enough on the scoreboard to outgun the Gators? Eric Zier answers those questions in less than 10 minutes here on the Bulldog Sports Network.
I'm John Addison, a lifetime Bulldog fan, Georgia graduate, and the chairman of distribution for Primerica, the largest independent financial services marketing company in North America. Primerica is a Main Street company for Main Street families. We help people from all walks of life achieve their goals and dreams by offering common sense financial solutions to today's challenges. As a Georgia-based company, Primerica is proud to continue to sponsor Georgia football. Go Dogs!
Dealing with constant changes, not easy. Letting go of my inner perfectionist, not easy. But crossing a few things off my financial to-do list, surprisingly simple.
Regions tools and advice make it easy to manage your money. From podcasts and webinars to budget and savings calculators, we'll help you find your financial comfort zone.
Those few little financial tweaks have made a big difference.
Check off some financial to-dos at regions.com/brave the beginning. Regions Bank, member FDIC, official bank of the SEC.
This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Dogs
fans in Athens, we have two important rules. Support local business and cheer on the Georgia Bulldogs. This season, we'd like to thank our official hometown team partners for their support of Georgia Athletics, Georgia's Cotton Farmers, Gainesville Mechanical, Homewood Suites by Hilton Athens, and Longhorn Steakhouse in Athens. Learn more about how you can support these great local partners by finding the Hometown Team Partners ad in the digital game program on GeorgiaDogs.com. Support our hometown team partners, and you'll support the Dogs.
When you are the official sponsor of the comeback, adding a few feet to a drive matters.
First down.
So does shaving 1/10 of a second off a lap. Top-rated surgery, physical therapy, and motion analysis by the sports medicine team at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta helps teen athletes not only prevent injuries, but heal faster and return stronger, ready to win. Our more than 20 orthopedic and sports medicine locations are ready to assist your athlete's comeback. To learn more, visit choa.org/sportsmed.
You're listening to Georgia football.
Over the shoulder catch at the 10, 5, touchdown right down the seam.
Now back to the NAPA Tailgate Show.
Gators stick a couple of men up on the line of scrimmage. Now they're creeping. They're going to bring everybody. Here they come. They bring the house. Murray throws it. Gurley's wide open down the middle of the field. Gurley to the 50. Runs by a man to the 40, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. He angles right. Touchdown, baby!
Yes, sir. 2013, and Aaron Murray connecting with Todd Gurley on that 73-yard TD. The Dogs and Gators back in Jacksonville. We're glad you're with us for the NAPA Tailgate Show. And here's our Lauren Smith. Lauren?
Well, it's always good to come to Savannah for any reason, but particularly this year. Made a nice stop earlier in the week to visit Charles Seiler, who manages UGA, the Georgia mascot. First time in history, dating back to 1956, that UGA hasn't been on the Georgia sideline. What has it been like? Is UGA upset about all this, Charles?
Well, he really doesn't know what to think. He notices that for some reason we're not leaving on weekends like we used to, but he enjoys watching the grill and the TV and staying at home, so we're coping best we can.
So you and UGA and your family are home gating, I guess, for the games.
We are. Yeah, Josh Brooks called me mid-August and said that the SEC had decided to go with a no live mascot rule this year. And when I asked Josh, well, is there anything that we can do? And since we both agreed that the dog, in effect, is just a magnet and people congregate to him, maybe that's not the best thing. So we decided to take UGA offline until there's a vaccine or until the SEC deems us worthy, and we'll go back to it.
I guess Charles Seiler, manager of the mascot, the Georgia mascot UGA, the most popular mascot in the country. I think we are safe to say that. Now, we do have some sort of personal prejudice, but Sports Illustrated has claimed UGA to be the #1 mascot, not only in the country. This was the first accolade, then the most significant, greatest mascot of all time. So you get a lot of cards and letters, responses, questions, phone calls about UGA, and why is it not on the field?
Well, we're still pretty busy. When COVID hit in March, we actually had to cancel an appearance in the local St. Patrick's Day parade, and the one other university event that I was able to cover later that week was out at the Skidaway Oceanographic Institute, which is the UGA Marine Extension, and 2 times a year they'll send what's called a bus caravan to Skidaway with either students or teachers to kind of get around the state and see the different areas that the university owns, and we were able to get that in. But I knew at that event, with people were supposed to distance and stay away, when they see the dog, they forget all about that, and they're right on top of him. So we knew that we were going to have some difficulties being politically correct.
Charles, UGA, most popular mascot, we've talked about that. In view of all of that, you get a lot of requests during the course of a year. What's the most unusual request you've ever gotten?
Funerals, bar mitzvahs, weddings, mall openings, things like that. People call and ask us to do things like that. We politely decline. But the dog's staying busy. We get calls from all the various media folks to send them either social media or videos or pics and things like that. So we're staying busy. It's just we don't have to load up in the car and drive 4 hours up and 4 hours back to do it.
Now, you get requests to come to funerals. What do they want Uga to do at a funeral?
I'm not sure. We haven't gotten that far. I imagine he'd wear black and be kind of off on the side, but since we know we're not going to do them, we never get as far as actually planning them out.
Mighty interesting, and I'm sure you could have Uga could make a lot of money if people put in the will that Uga come to their funeral and you were to accommodate those kinds of requests. Charles Seiler, always great to see Charles and Sonny, his father, and his sister Swan all live in Savannah. Sarah lives in Athens, and Bess lives in St. Simon. So they're all together many times during the year. We look forward to seeing that day return when Uga can roam the sideline. Now we go back over to Neil.
All right, thank you, Lauren, and thanks to Charles. Always great to hear from the Seiler family. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Bulldog Sports Network. Bulldogs fans, shop the UGA bookstore for the best in Georgia gear next to Sanford Stadium or online 24/7 at UGAbookstore.com. Keep an eye out for new arriving items and stay up to date on our in-store events and promotions this season by following them on social media at UGA Bookstore. The UGA Bookstore, it's where the dogs shop, and I will give a nice plug for the UGA Bookstore. Coming down here this weekend, so it was going to be warm, but then we had a 50% chance of showers for today, and went into my treasure trove of the wonderful stuff that I've gotten at the bookstore and found just the right top to wear in case it rained, but also to keep me warm in case it got a little cool tonight in the second half when the wind begins to come in there off the river and off the coast as well. In the Kirby Smart era, Georgia is 8-5 versus AP top 10 teams. That includes an unblemished 2-0 versus the Gators. More from inside the stadium with Eric Zier and Dogs offense as the Dogs prepare to clash with Florida on the Bulldog Sports Network.
The relief on the hot water heater fails, pouring gallons of water into your finished basement. The drainage hose on your dishwasher breaks, sending an endless stream of water onto your kitchen and living room hardwood floors. No matter what happens in your home, the cleanup and restoration specialists at Serve Pro will be with you every step of the way until you're back on your feet. So when fire or water damage strikes, call on Serve Pro to make it like it never even happened. 1-800-SERVE-PRO and ServePro.com.
Glory! Glory to old Georgia! The dogs are unleashed, and so are the savings. Scana Energy is a proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs. So sing, cheer, and put on your red and black in honor of our team. Celebrate the Dogs' journey to glory this football season with Scana Energy by calling 877-GO-SCANA or visiting scanaenergy.com to save.
Georgia football is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World. The year is 2019, and someone is getting up to use the bathroom at the stadium.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh, sorry. Excuse me? You mind if I just squeeze by here?
This has been The Sounds of the Old World. Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This holiday season, hurry into the Road Home sales event and conquer any terrain on your trip back with the remarkably versatile BMW X3, the spacious BMW X5, or the iconic 3 Series. This year, don't just take the road home, Truly experience it in the ultimate driving machine. Hurry into the BMW Roadhome sales event for exceptional offers today.
Take advantage of our holiday credit today. Visit BMWATL.com for details. Go Dogs!
The Dogs play here.
Wow! Power straight ahead. Touchdown!
You're listening to the NAPA Tailgate Show.
Play fake by Bennett, throws it wide open. Cook makes the catch on his hip at the 40. He's off to the far sideline inside the Cats 40 and tackled out of bounds at the 30-yard line, maybe the 29.
James Cook finally healthy and more each week, revealing himself as a weapon to be accounted for. You're tuned to the NAPA Tailgate Show, and this Georgia Offense Update is brought to you by UPS. Working together to achieve great things like the Bulldogs, that's problem solving. Visit UPS.com to learn more. Official logistics partner of Georgia Athletics. Last week in the Slowpoke win at Kentucky, our Dogs racked up 215 yards, headlined by Zamir White, who set career highs with 26 attempts for 136 yards.
He certainly, I thought, last week was one of his better. I mean, there were times that he had contact in the backfield that he turned it into a 5-yard run. He turned 3-yard runs into 6-yard runs. He ran behind his pad. He kept his balance. I thought he did a really good job.
There's Coach Smart. Z, do you foresee the Dogs grounding and pounding today with Zeus and our stable of backs? Is that a good game plan, and are we capable?
I do, Hondo, and I think it is the game plan that we have to put into place today. We can't get into a track meet with this Gator offense. They've got too many weapons. They're too explosive, and we just don't match up well there. It's not our identity. Our identity is ground and pound. It is to be physical, is to go punch in the face, play action off of that. No need to go run from that. It is how we are built. We will get over the next couple of years with Coach Munkett, we will get more explosive and have a little bit more of that eye candy and do all those things that we're seeing all across the country. But that's not who we are right now. And who we are has gotten us to the elite in college football. No need to shy away from it. Today, if we want to win this football game, we have to out-physical the Gators, and it has to start from the opening whistle.
Well, you brought up the eye candy, so let's go right to this. Jordan Rogers, SEC Network, said this week of Georgia receivers, quote, reading between the lines, they're not really trusting of those young guys being able to execute and the responsibilities on the play, including movement.
Yeah, it's listen. I agree on the surface with what he's saying. However, trust is a pretty critical word there. I think you've got some young guys here that remember we haven't had the full benefit of an off season. You don't see many freshmen coming into this league right now because of the disruption we had in the offseason, where you've had to go replace as many guys as we've had to, and all of a sudden overhauling an entire part of your team, specifically here the offense. It's those guys that have got experience and are skilled that are really rising above because they've got the reps and they've got the experience to really adapt pretty quickly to an ever-changing game that we're in right now because of the pandemic. But, on the surface, he's right. It's not how we're built. It's not the personnel that we have. You wouldn't expect that we'd be able to overhaul an entire offense without having the benefit of an off season. And that's okay. We're good enough to win football games with the offense that we have. We just need to stay true to who we are.
Well, George Pickens will not play again today. That's the report we get. Kearis Jackson has caught 15 passes in the first 2 games, then only 9 in the last 3. The tight ends have combined for 3 catches total against Alabama and UK. Then you've got running backs we can throw to, and then some of the freshman receivers that we were just discussing, Burton, Rosemy, Jack Saint. But over 5 games, there has not been a consistent go-to guy for Georgia, no less having 2 of them. Eric, who's going to catch the ball today?
Yeah, listen, if we come out and we do establish the run, off of that, a lot of play action, move in the pocket for Stetson Bennett, and when we go do that, Kearis Jackson, without a George Pickens today, Kearis Jackson, he's got to step up and play well. Then I think on top of that, Darnell Washington has a chance to be a dominant and a difference maker when it comes to offensive play playmaking. Want to see him get involved, especially off of play action, and then the continued use of our backs out of the backfield. The style of ball that we want to play, our tight end needs to step up and have a big game today. And Darnell Washington, backs need to continue to be a difference maker. And we're going to be, if we are running the football, we'll have opportunities to stretch the football down the field vertically. That's where guys like Kearis Jackson have got to step up big like he was doing earlier in the year.
All right, thank you very much, Z. Great job. For the third year in a row, the Georgia-Florida game will be a top 10 matchup. Last season, the number 8 Bulldogs edged the number 6 Gators 24-17. The year prior, the Dogs were number 7 and topped the number 9th ranked Gators 37-17. So it's Georgia and Florida again today, both in the top 10. UGA is number 5, UF is number 8, and this is the Bulldog Sports Network.
This is head coach Kirby Smart. It's my job to coach the fundamentals of football and prepare my guys for the future. Well, my friends at Southeast Mortgage are preparing you for your future by becoming a homeowner. Every Bulldog deserves a home. If you're in the market to purchase or refinance, I trust Southeast Mortgage to provide the best experience and get it done. Visit southeastmortgage.com/UGA to get pre-approved for your home loan today. Southeast Mortgage, the official home loan lender of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Southeast Mortgage of Georgia Incorporated, NMLS, number 103956. Georgia Residential Mortgage License number 6578.
What does Julie, who runs a thriving local business, have in common with the starting quarterback? Well, they both know how to hustle. As a small business owner, you rise before the sun and push till well after it sets. Outpace and defy expectations. Every quarterback needs a great team. UPS is here to support the hustle with tools and expert advice to help you be unstoppable. Visit ups.com/pivot for details. UPS, the official logistics partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
This is your home of the Dogs. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Angela and I had big plans for 2020. A new stamp in our passports, maybe a bathroom renovation. We definitely didn't expect to be worried about our income.
When life takes you out of one comfort zone, your Regions banker has helpful tools and advice to help you find a new one.
It's a relief to have a plan for whatever comes next.
Make your financial plan at regions.com/brave the beginning. Regions Bank. Member FDIC. Official bank of the SEC.
Cleanings, checkups, and cavities? Have Dr. Chang's dental practice at capacity.
Patient in room 1 is getting a root canal. The x-rays in room 2 are going to have to wait. We're down to 1 hygienist.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Counting you down to kickoff.
He goes down underneath. Big George Davis crushed.
You're listening to the NAPA Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
Dogs stay in the eye. This time we'll pass. Stafford right down the middle. He's got a man wide open. It's caught by Massacroix. 50, 40. So long, everybody. Massacroix, touchdown.
Mo Mass, my man, beating Florida in 2007. Georgia aims to knock off the Gators for a 4th consecutive season today. We kick off at 3:40. Welcome back to the NAPA Tailgate Show. And one of the greatest Dogs wins over Florida came in 1985. Here from our Scana booth inside the stadium is Lauren Smith with one of the heroes from that game. Lauren?
Thank you, Neil. By the way, Mohamed Massacroix was honored by the Touchdown Club last week. We saw that play.
Oh, good.
Again and again.
And I can watch it all day, baby. Good. Hey, is Mohamed back from Harvard yet? Is he back from
He's back in Atlanta. And,
oh, good. I'll look him up.
He's certainly doing a good job in business, as we expected him to do. Yep. And we say hello to one of the nicest guys with the toughest touch we've ever had to play defense at Georgia, Greg Muddy Waters, Swainsboro. We saw him make big plays, and whether he made a big play or whether the team made a big play, always had that big smile. That's what characterizes Greg Muddy Waters. What do you remember about the game? You had 13 tackles. You had a quarterback sack and maybe a fumble recovery. What do you know, Greg? I had a little sheet with all the stats, and I left it at my room back at the beach. What do you remember about that great game?
It just was a long day, and the defense was playing good.
I'm sorry? Can you hear
it was just I can hear you. You can hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, it was just a great day for the defense, and we just had a great day on the defense side of the ball, and we was able to get after the quarterback.
Well, Greg, you made all those tackles. Does a defensive player sort of get in the zone like we hear about athletes sometimes, like a golfer's in the zone? Do you sort of get in the zone out there?
Yeah, sometimes when you hate to see it, but when you can dominate a guy, then you just feel comfortable that you can just about do anything.
Well, other memories of that game and at Georgia?
Yes, it was my senior year, and I wanted to go out on a bang, and I was able to just play I graded like 80, 90% the whole year, which was good. It just was a great year for me.
And the highlight of your career at Georgia, what would it be?
My highlight probably was the Florida game, but just being named all SEC is the most thing when you come in and you wasn't highly recruited and you get to your senior year and you just have a great year. It just shows that hard work.
Well, Greg, you had a terrific career at Georgia. You went back home and worked in your community, the ultimate example of giving back. But you've had a couple of physical problems owing to diabetes. You had an amputation. How are you operating today?
I'm doing well with the help of the Lord. I had actually a double amputation, so me and my family, we're doing well, and we're dealing with it day to day.
Well, we thank you for being on with us. We wish you the best. And as I say, you smiled when things were good. And I know you're smiling your way through adversity, and we wish you the best. Greg Muddy Waters, not only an outstanding player, outstanding citizen, one of the most popular players we ever had at Georgia, Neil.
All right, thank you, Lauren. That game, for those of you who are too young to remember, 1985, Florida was ranked number 1 in the nation for the first time in its program's history. It's back when the AP and UPI ratings would come out, rankings would come out on Tuesdays. And Florida was ranked on that Tuesday, number 1, came into Jacksonville, prepared to beat Georgia. We had beaten them 6 years in a row until 1984 when the Gators handed us a rather decisive defeat. Now it was 1985, and they were sure they were going to beat Georgia for a second year in a row and roll on with their number 1 ranking. The Dogs had different plans, however, came out and really stomped the Gators. 24-3 was the final. We had 3 long touchdown runs, a couple by Keith Henderson, one by Tim Worley, and one outstanding, magnificent game by Greg Muddy Waters on defense, as Lauren has noted here. Great to hear from Greg Waters, and best of luck for Muddy. Bulldogs fans, tune in tomorrow at midnight to WSB TV Channel 2 to catch the latest episode of Kirby Smart All Access. This week will feature Special Teams Coordinator Scott Cochran. That's Kirby Smart All Access tomorrow at 12 midnight on WSB TV Channel 2 or anytime next week at GeorgiaDogs.com. The voice of the Dogs, Scott Howard, joins us in 2 minutes. We are amped up here in Jacksonville. We know you are wherever you are, too. It's number 5, Georgia, 8th-ranked Florida, today on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Georgia Farm Bureau Insurance was created in 1959 to provide financial protection for farmers and rural communities. Over the years, it has grown to protect all Georgians through affordable home, auto, and life insurance, helping Georgia build a strong agriculture industry and keeping the promises we made to our members. Our agents and members stand together for the values that make Georgia special: faith, family, and community. We stand together. We stand for you. We are a Farm Bureau.
What does Julie, who runs a thriving local business, have in common with the starting quarterback? Well, they both know how to hustle. As a small business owner, you rise before the sun and push till well after it sets. Outpace and defy expectations. Every quarterback needs a great team. UPS is here to support the hustle with tools and expert advice to help you be unstoppable. Visit ups.com/pivot for details. UPS, the official logistics partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
The Dogs are heard right here. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
As soon as we brought our son home from the hospital, I wanted to put him in a protective bubble. I'm Chastity Maney from Country Financial, and like most parents, I want to make sure my son is protected throughout his life. Fortunately, I know Country Financial will also be there to help his dad and me along the way, as he gets his license and first car, and as we pack that car to leave for college.
Find a representative near you at TakeSimpleSteps.com.
Love getting prices that are lower than low on food that's fresher than fresh? Then shop at Kroger. We give you more ways to save on the fresh you love with tools like the Kroger app, where you can find personalized coupons on top of weekly sales, giving you prices that are lower than the everyday low. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
We're here to help you save on the food and essentials you need. Just buy 5 or more participating sale items and you'll save $1 each with card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
It's game day for the Dogs.
Throw into the end zone. Touchdown Pickens. Touchdown Pickens. Back right corner.
Let's rejoin the NAPA Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
Oh, Gators fumble it. We pick it up on the far side. The Dogs have picked it up with Richard LeCount. He's running down the far side. He makes a man miss at the 15. They trip him up at the 13-yard line. Felipe Franks made the tackle and saved the touchdown.
Richie LeCount with a huge play in the Dogs' 2018 victory over Florida. We will not have our All-American safety today against the Gators, however, one of several defenders who will not suit up this afternoon. Here's fellow defensive back Mark Webb and his assessment of LeCount's understudy, Christopher Smith.
He's a very physical player, and that's what you want as a safety or somebody that's next to you in the defensive backfield. Like, he's very vocal, and he does his job very well. You get what I'm saying? He's definitely ready for the opportunity that's in front of him.
Chris has played a lot for us. Richard came out of the one game for targeting, and then he came in and played for Lewis the other day. So we feel like Chris has gotten a lot of experience. Chris works really hard in practice, and he's ready to play. Tyreek Stevenson's worked back there. Breeny's worked back there.
There's Coach Smart adding his 2 cents. The best play-by-play man in the SEC rejoins us now, Scott Howard. And, Scott, good thing Coach Smart and Dan Lanning rotate a lot of players into different positions.
I think we do that at just about every position. I know we do it on the defensive front. We do it on the offensive line. We do it in the defensive backfield. And it's moments like these when it's good that you do that. So guys know what they're supposed to do when they're in a different position, if they're playing the nickel, if they're playing the safety, or if they're playing the corner. And Georgia's very deep at that position or in the secondary. We've got a lot of options that we can go to, and we're going to need to go to those options today.
Yeah, yes, we are. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, Georgia's quarterback situation, Stetson Bennett has struggled the past 2 weeks. That's been noted in many places, yes. Meanwhile, the young man who started in the season opener, DeJuan Mathis, has yet to see action in 4 subsequent Georgia games.
He wants to play. He's a competitor. He wants an opportunity to get in and compete. And, we gave he and JT a lot of reps during the off week, and we'll continue to give as many guys as we can get ready reps to grow those guys and get them ready to play.
I should have said meaningful minutes in the subsequent 4 games. DeJuan has come in and mop-up duty. Ed and JT Daniels, as Coach Smart just did, and our fans wonder about the QB1 spot, Scott.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd situation. I mean, we've been told by Kirby that Stetson Bennett is the guy that they feel, the coaching staff feels, gives Georgia the best chance to win. So, I mean, how much deeper can you go when the guy says that, when the head coach says that? Okay, then, I mean, they see all the snaps. They are in all the meetings. They know all that inside stuff. We do not. We just have to take them at their word. you can't help but wonder. It's like, well, what are the other guys doing where they're not able to compete at that top level to try to get the job? Well, we know JT's story. I mean, he's coming off the injury. Maybe he's not 100%. Yeah, he's been cleared to play, yes, but maybe he's not quite there at the level that everybody feels like he needs to be. It's kind of a curious situation, but it's one that's ongoing throughout the season, and until somebody, I guess, beats out Stetson Bennett in practice, then Stetson's our guy on game day.
Yeah, I guess just because you pass the bar doesn't mean you're ready to get in front of the Supreme Court and present a case.
There you go. That's a perfect analogy.
People tell me that all the time.
That you're a perfect analogy.
That I'm a perfect. I won't tell you what for, though. All right, buddy. Thank you very much, Scott Howard. A top 10 collision between border rivals today at 3:39. Listen to what we have coming up in the next few segments, okay? We've got Hall of Fame kicker Kevin Butler joining us next. We'll follow that with former All-American great quarterback Eric Zeier with his desires. And we'll talk to Tony Schiavone about the huge AEW Dynamite event that's going on here in Jacksonville tonight, next door to us, right after our game as well. Stay with us. This is the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Napa know-how. Get all the quality parts you need at your locally owned Napa. Because right now, when you order from Napa online, you can pick up curbside at your local store in just 30 minutes. Or get your order delivered direct to your door with free one-day shipping and over 160,000 quality parts when you spend $35 or more. Quality parts delivered quickly and safely. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating stores, standard ground shipping and exclusions apply.
Football fans, Terrapin Beer Company, Athens' born and bred and longest-running brewery, is proud to be a part of game day and every day. Let's raise our glasses and toast our Athens team with our hometown brew. Make Terrapin a part of your game day weekend traditions. Stop by the brewery Wednesday through Sunday to sample the best beer you can drink. Please drink responsibly, and as always, 21 means 21.
You're listening to Dogs Football, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
I'm John Addison, a lifetime Bulldog fan, Georgia graduate, and the chairman of distribution for Primerica, the largest independent financial services marketing company in North America. Primerica is a Main Street company for Main Street families. We help people from all walks of life achieve their goals and dreams by offering common sense financial solutions to today's challenges. As a Georgia-based company, Primerica is proud to continue to sponsor Georgia football. Go Dogs!
What does Julie, who runs a thriving local business, have in common with the starting quarterback? Well, they both know how to hustle. As a small business owner, you rise before the sun and push till well after it sets. Outpace and defy expectations. Every quarterback needs a great team. UPS is here to support the hustle with tools and expert advice to help you be unstoppable. Visit ups.com/pivot for details. UPS, the official logistics partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
It's time to unleash the dogs.
In the pocket, nowhere to go. We got a sack it. We sack it for a big loss, and the ball goes over on downs.
Welcome back to the Napa Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
12th play of the drive now. Zeus going to take the play fake. It'll be kept by Bennett and into the end zone. Touchdown, Stetson.
Stetson for 6. And now this look at today's kicking game is brought to you by Allstate. Protecting you has no off-season. You're in good hands with Allstate. Your usual crew here on the road with the Dogs: Scott Howard, Eric Zeier, Lauren Smith, and yours truly, Neil Williamson. Joined now by Hall of Fame All-American kicker Kevin Butler on the Napa Tailgate Show. And Kevin, a big day for Jake Camarda. We want to try to keep this Florida offense pinned back as far as we can, don't we?
Yeah, we do, and that's what Jake provides Georgia right now. He really is truly flipping the field. When you hear that, folks, watch it today. He flips the field, and I think that'll be a very big part of the game today, Hondo, is we try to make the Gators go as far as you can each time, 80 yards plus every time. Jake's been able to do that. He's landing the ball consistently inside the 20, inside the 10, which is making offenses have to go a little bit farther. And I think that's one of the keys to success against Florida Gators today, because their offense is potent, and you want to not give them a short field at any opportunity.
Yeah, at any at all. That's right. Kevin, these Gators have some specialists who have been nothing short of terrific in 2020. On paper, my question is, have we met our match in kicking teams play?
Well, you know what? Florida has always been one of those teams that produces good place kickers, produces good punters, and they have great athletes out there covering. And Evan McPherson is a place kicker that has been very good for them. Last week he did not kick. Chris Howard went in there and was 2 for 2. A couple of short ones, but I'm sure you're going to see both of these guys today. Finn, the punter, is a very effective punter again. Right now, Florida's given up 0 yards in returns on punts, so he's doing an efficient job of getting some hang time up there. We always know it's a little windy out here at the Gator Bowl, but it's something that each of these kickers have to deal with, and punting will certainly play a big part for each team today, because again, where you start today, Hondo, is going to make a big difference on your success.
Well, our return game has been a strong weapon, but today, if Florida holds true to form in 2020, we may be neutralized. Okay, Kevin, thanks so much for taking the time. We always appreciate your expertise. The great Kevin Butler joining us here on the NAPA Tailgate Show. Eric Zier is next on our hit parade of Georgia analysts. Z shares his dog's desires in 2 minutes. It's 5th-ranked Georgia versus number 8 Florida on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
In football, it's important to call the right play. In life, it can be even more important to make the right call, especially regarding termite protection. To protect my home, I call the unbeatable combination for termite protection, Cook's Pest Control and the Centricon system. Discover how affordable it is to protect your home with the Centricon system. Make the right call. Cook's Pest Control.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cook's Pest Control.
From a tiny blueberry to a towering Georgia pine, Georgia's agriculture products are as special and diverse as its people. Georgia Farm Bureau members stand for the values that bring Georgia together. We stand for strong communities and Georgia-grown products. We stand for family, faith, and keeping promises. We stand for you and your community. We stand together. Join today at gfb.org.
We are a Farm Bureau.
Don't go anywhere. The Dogs are coming right back. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Sir, you are now being placed on arrest for driving under an influence.
What does that mean? That means you've earned a night in the Gray Bar Motel. During your stay, you'll be photographed, fingerprinted, and given a stylish jumpsuit. And each room has an en-suite bathroom.
Is all this free?
Oh, no. Fines, court costs, and legal bills could add up to $10,000 or more.
Save your money for a real hotel. Drive sober or we will pull you over.
This message brought to you by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
Now more than ever, it's important to support our local businesses, whether it's your favorite pizza place or your neighborhood barber. That's why I'm a proud member of Georgia's Own Credit Union. Georgia's Own has been serving our local community for more than 85 years. Whether they're saving you money on a checking account or credit card, or supporting the people, places, and teams that we've grown to love, Georgia's Own can't be beat. To learn more, visit their website at georgiasown.org. I'm Chuck Dowdle, and I'm one of Georgia's Own.
It's game day, and the Dogs are ready to eat.
And it is caught! Touchdown! Money time!
Let's rejoin the NAPA Tailgate Show.
There's the snap, play fake, drops back, pressure. Oh, look at him hold Davis. Wow, and Georgia's going to get the sack anyway. They were holding him from here to Kingdom Come, and he fought through the blocker and still got the sack back on the Florida 42-yard line. Boy, what a play by Jordan Davis.
2019, Jordan Davis taking down Kyle Trask. Eric Zier, I assume that near or at the top of your desires today is that Jordan will be able to compete.
Oh, boy, hope so. We've got so many guys that are out, but big Jordan Davis, such an integral part of this defense. If he can go, that's a huge boost for this Georgia team, no doubt.
Zier's Desires brought to you by Athens Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, the fastest, easiest way to buy your next new car, truck, or SUV. Choose from the largest selection at AthensDCJR.com. Always the best deal, always. This is our Napa Tailgate Show. It's Georgia versus Florida. Let's hear the rest of your desires, Zay.
Well, Hondo first is we've got to eliminate the explosive plays against us. One of the few Achilles heels for this Georgia defense this year has been we've lost one-on-one battles that have led to quick points, quick touchdowns, and explosive plays. We can't afford to get into a track meet against this Florida Gator offense today. Have to keep the football in front of us, force Florida to drive the field. We've also got to make life very, very difficult for Kyle Pitts, the great tight end from the University of Florida. He is one of the best in the business, without question. The Gators do a great job of moving him around the field in different formations, trying to get the matchups that they want. We've got to be alert to where he is, and when he puts his hand in the ground in a true tight end position, we've got to be physical, make him feel our presence the entire game. Finally, on the defensive side of the ball, we've got to be able to pressure Kyle Trask without bringing blitz pressure. So linebacker dogs or safety blitzes, if we can get pressure on Trask with just 4 rushers, that'll bode well for us defensively. And then the offensive side of the ball, I think, is pretty simple. We have to stay true to our identity, run the football, stay patient, make this a fight for 60 minutes. If we go do those things, and then finally win the turnover battle, you can't win this football game if you give that Florida offense more opportunities. We win that battle, you feel much better about our chances of coming out of Jacksonville with another victory over this Gator team.
All right, excellent, Z. Thanks very much. Well, you know who finally joined us in his 40s? Tony Schiavone, 40 today. Happy birthday, Tony.
Actually, 42 is what it is.
42. Oh, okay. I read that wrong. All right, 42 years old. And
you look better than ever. I'm sorry, say that again.
You look better than ever.
I feel better than ever.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
You notice he turns up your mic when you compliment him.
I know. He turned it down. He thought some other things were.
What'd you say?
What'd you say? What'd you say?
Go ahead. Try it again.
I can't even.
Well, Tony, not only is it your birthday, but I loved your answer earlier when somebody asked you, "What are you doing for your birthday, Tone?"
Working 2 jobs.
Yeah. And the second one, I mean, you've got this all day today, and then right after our game, you're walking right out the tunnel into the next building over.
Daly's Place is where I'm going to be, and we've got it's the outdoor amphitheater. We got our show tonight. It's our pay-per-view called Full Gear, and we're going to be 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock tonight live, and so we're going to have 1,000 fans over there, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Really is.
It's great, Tony. Very good. AEW Dynamite. Yep. Tony Schiavone, take a look for him, folks. He's all dressed up. He got real dressed up for the tailgate show.
Thank you very much. This is key lime.
Yeah,
tan.
I like that.
I can tell you all my colors.
Key lime. I said to Tony, what about makeup? Speaking of, Brad Nessler just walked in the booth with us. I'm like, Tony, what about makeup? He's like, nah, I don't need makeup for TV, man. I just throw on a jacket. I'm ready to go.
I'm ruggedly handsome, is what I'm saying.
Doing that on his birthday, no less. All right, Tony, very good. Thank you very much. Good luck with that big show tonight. Team buses should be pulling up at any minute, and Scott will have Coach Kirby Smart, first of 2 exclusive interviews with him before we finish up our Napa Tailgate show today. We're in our Scana booth, and Brad Nessler from CBS is here. He's going to join Lauren next on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Momentum in football or a small crack in your basement can snowball into major damage. Hondo here for Engineered Solutions of Georgia. See a crack in your wall? Call ESOG, proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Dial 678 ESOG now.
I'm attorney Ken Nugent, and I'm here with legendary Georgia Bulldog quarterback and radio host Buck Ballou.
Ken and I are teaming up to give back to the brave men and women of our military. Ken's going to donate $500 to one member of the military every Bulldog football game this season.
If you're a member of the military in Atlanta, go to attorneykennugent.com to enter.
And somebody's going to win $500 every game.
One click.
That's it.
Ken Nugent, proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Hey, this is Trip Strickland at Georgia Metals, and we are so much more than metal roofing. We're steel buildings, metal fabrication, custom welding. We're everything metal. So for all your metal needs, call Georgia Metals. where quality still matters.
This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Make your first play of the season a smart one. Get a fast and easy sports physical right around the corner from Piedmont Quick Care at Walgreens. With 27 locations offering extended hours and most open 7 days a week, you can book online to get in, get out, and get on your way to a championship year. Visit piedmont.org/UGA to schedule a sports physical today. Patient care services provided by Piedmont Healthcare. Piedmont Quick Care at Walgreens. One stop to better.
This is Jesse's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
As a nurse, not making it to work was not an option. But driving through the snow with my wiper blades struggling, I just didn't feel safe. So I pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts, and before I knew it, an employee was offering to install the wiper blades on my car. I got to stay out of the snow for a moment, and I still made it to work on time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We're counting you down to kickoff for the inside track on today's game.
28, 20, 10, 5, give him 6, touchdown!
Here's more from the crew on the NAPA Tailgate Show.
Here's the snap. Here comes pressure by the Gators. Quick throw. Mitchell makes the catch. He breaks away. 30, 25, 20. Veers inside. 10 breaks the tackle. 5 breaks another one. Touchdown!
2012 Murray to Mitchell. Man, that was a fun one. Dogs and the Gators renew the blood rivalry today. 3:40 kickoff. We want you to turn down the sound if you're at home and watch this guy, but he wants you to listen on TV. So, we're at odds here in the booth.
I'd listen to Scott. The heck with it.
Brad Nessler is with us, our old friend, and here's our Lauren Smith. Lauren?
Thank you, Neil. Listening to Scott Howard there, radio guys get excited. Are you allowed to get excited?
I get excited, Lauren. I'm just like anybody else. When I see a big play, it's a little bit harder actually this year, I think, because we don't have as many fans in the stands, and I think a lot of us tend to rise to whatever the crowd is doing, and so with the smaller crowds, I probably don't get quite as high up there in the octaves, but I get excited on big plays.
Well, now, Brad, everybody's talked about the unusual circumstance with COVID-19, but looking at it from your perspective at this point, just beyond half a year,
yep.
Is there anything redeeming about all of this?
I guess I'm learning more about doing things on computers and phones. If you're into the whole Zoom thing, I'm kind of tired of it. The thing for us is, Viacom CBS has got their rules and their protocols. And my bar tabs are much smaller. I'll tell you that much. I don't get to go out, man. I got to sit in my room for 2.5 days, so I can't go down to the lobby bar. I can't go to the restaurants. I have to have my food delivered. So from that standpoint, my wife thinks that's a redeeming situation that I don't get to go out on Thursday night, Friday night. I'm just telling you the truth, guys.
I guess Brad Nessler, CBS announcer, old friend, was with WSB a time back and collects vintage cars.
Yeah, I got to get those things out.
What's your latest acquisition?
I don't have any. I don't have any new ones now. My oldest one is now, 40, 60, 80 years old. My oldest one is 80 years old. My 1940 Dodge Coupe. Wow. And I got to get her out. Miss Daisy, that's what her license plate says. I got to get her out, get her cranked up. I might do that tomorrow, matter of fact, if it's nice when I get back home.
In the off season, you go to a lot of shows?
I used to. This has been a weird year because I usually do Duluth and Norcross shows, and they didn't have either one of them. So, next year hopefully they'll get back in gear, and we'll get them out there. And I usually have a couple friends drive them because I can't drive to one and then go back home and get another one. So we're kind of jostling back and forth, and they're carrying me from one car to the other.
Now, Brad, you're getting to be a regular face of college football, succeeding Vern Lundquist on CBS.
Aging face of college football. Is that what you're going to say?
Well, you can say that about all of us.
Not aging knees, aging ankles.
Everything hurts. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No problem. But how much fun is the 3:30 slot? I mean, that's a perfect time to play college football.
Yeah, it's awesome. Just like it will be today. Weather's going to be perfect. It's a little breezy out here, but
you can complain all you want about you can't do this, you can't do that because of COVID. We've made it this far, and we're still playing, and we haven't had a game canceled, and nobody on our crew's gotten sick. And so this is actually what I live for the entire week. You study all week, then you go and you say, oh, I'm tired of being in my room and being quarantined and all that kind of stuff. Man, you get out here, 3 hours before kickoff, and you start just getting the feel of it. And then as you get closer to 3:30, you get more and more excited. And I have more fun doing this than just about anything I can think of.
You've done your homework. Now you've got Georgia, Florida coming up. What's your analysis of the game?
Well, it's just, when you're a defensive guy like Kirby, you always want to say, we want to make them one-dimensional. And in this case, I hope he's talking about, for Georgia fans, the dimension of taking away the passing game, because what they do best is throw the ball around, and they've done it really well. But the last 3 years, Kirby's defense has had Dan Mullen's number. I don't know if they'll have it again today. It's a really high-powered team. Kyle Pitts and Kadarius Toney are two dangerous dudes, and it's going to be a struggle. I think first team to 31 wins. How's that?
As long as it's
we get 31.
I know you guys get 31. You're going to be excited, man.
Yeah, right. Well, Greg, thanks for stopping by to see us and for being a guest on our show. You get to play in our Hall of Fame golf every Monday week.
That's why you asked me if I sucked at golf on the way in here. Good to see you, buddy.
All right, Brad.
Go back over to Neil.
Okay. Right. Thanks, Ness. All right, Brad Nessler from CBS with us. His call of the game at 3:40 today on CBS. If you're home and if you're out and about, we will hope that you'll listen to us in your car as well. Here in Jacksonville, a pair of top 10 teams. Number 5, Georgia, 8th ranked Florida. Trade licks at 3:40. Coach Smart with an exclusive scouting report on the Gators in less than 20 minutes here on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Love getting prices that are lower than low on food that's fresher than fresh? Then shop at Kroger. We give you more ways to save on the fresh you love with tools like the Kroger app, where you can find personalized coupons on top of weekly sales, giving you prices that are lower than the everyday low. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Be sure to pick up sweet, ripe Honeycrisp apples. They're a juicy fall favorite and on sale for just $1.77 a pound with card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Football fans, Terrapin Beer Company, Athens' born and bred and longest-running brewery, is proud to be a part of game day and every day. Let's raise our glasses and toast our Athens team with our hometown brew. Make Terrapin a part of your game day weekend traditions. Stop by the brewery Wednesday through Sunday to sample the best beer you can drink. Please drink responsibly, and as always, 21 means 21.
You're listening to Dogs Football, sponsored by Progressive. Drivers who save with Progressive save over $750 on average.
It's not really about the tailgating or even being in the stands. It's not even really about winning or losing. It's always been about being with friends and family, making memories for tomorrow while being in the moment today. That's what Georgia football means. Are you ready? We are. Since it's different this season, and many of us can't get up to Athens, we're going to bring Athens to you. Visit harrydoghouse.com to learn how your home gating experience can become one of your best Bulldog memories.
These days, I'm spending a lot more time at home, which means I need ways to easily control my comfort. And here's an insider tip. If you're a Georgia Power residential customer, you may be eligible for up to a $75 instant rebate on a smart thermostat. Here's how. Georgia Power's online marketplace features thermostats from brands like Google Nest, Honeywell, and Ecobee, as well as a variety of LEDs and smart home products like smart speakers, Wi-Fi routers, indoor cameras, and more. Just visit the site and start shopping. Shop now at GeorgiaPowerMarketplace.com.
You're listening to Georgia Football.
Over the shoulder catch at the 10, 5, touchdown right down the seam.
Now back to the NAPA Tailgate Show.
Here's Gatewood rolling out to the right, looking. He's got Adam Anderson grabbing a hold of him, and then we sack him with Azeez Ojulari back on the 15. Anderson and Ojulari shutting Kentucky down there.
Our NAPA Tailgate Show continues. This is the segment, what I like to think of as the radio version of waterboarding our listening audience. It's time
We
for...
haven't already done that today? We got another one of those segments.
It's time for our predictions. Yes, it is. Yeah, I was looking at some scores here. Indiana, ranked 13th in the nation at home, leading at the half over number 23 Michigan. It's 24-7. Wolverines trailing the Hoosiers. And meanwhile, Michigan State is playing at Iowa and trailing 35-0 at half to the Hawkeyes. And all I can think to myself is with Michigan State and Michigan losing like that to Indiana and Iowa, they must be really happy. At least they have the Lions on Sunday. Anyway, up there in Michigan. Anyway, it's time for predictions, and we've got Scott Howard, Eric Zier, Lauren Smith, Neil Hondo Williamson, Tony, and Chris Schiavone here from our Scana broadcast booth. And last week, Eric Zier went 2-1, Scott and Neil went 1-2. Lauren, you came up with a goose egg there, buddy.
I did?
Yeah, you did.
I beat somebody.
No, you picked LSU, as we all did. That was a good pick, fellas.
That was a great pick.
Oh, man, holy.
I got a call from Scott Howard at the end of the second quarter last week, or whatever that was. It was like, that was wonderful.
We're all like, Auburn, they're pretenders. Stop. And then Eric picked Texas. The rest of us picked the Cowboys. And then it's Virginia Tech at Louisville. And we all picked Virginia Tech, except for you, Lauren. Sorry, you went with the coach there at Satterfield at Louisville. All right, Pitt at Florida State this week. And, Eric, you're the brilliant one. You go ahead and don't look at my notes like that and make your own predictions.
I'm just picking away from wherever you went.
That's a smart decision.
Listen, Florida State, not sure what's going on there in Tallahassee. I like the Pitt Panthers.
All right, Lauren?
I'll show you how scientific it is. Heads, I'm going to go with Pitt. Tails, FSU. What is it, Tails?
It's Tails.
Okay, I go FSU.
Okay, Lauren's got the Seminoles there, pal.
My barometer for that game is their Pitt and Florida State's performance against Notre Dame. They both lost.
Uh-huh.
Pitt lost really bad. Florida State didn't lose as bad. I'll go with the Seminoles at home today.
How about that? Now, the Panthers opened 3-0, then lost 2 one-point games, and have played 2 top 25 teams since then. I'm going with Pittsburgh in this one.
Divided
I'm with
house.
Zaire. Number 1, Clemson. At number 4, Notre Dame. I think, Clemson rallied 24-0 in the second half to nip Boston College last week, but I think Notre Dame's defense is better than Boston College's, and I'm going to take the Irish today without Trevor Lawrence in that game.
Ooh, to knock off number 1. I'm sticking with number 1 until they prove to me that they are not worthy. Yeah, they are worthy today. I like Clemson.
I do too. Notre Dame. We've seen Notre Dame up close and personal in some of these big games, and they've got a good football team. They're not the same caliber, even without Trevor Lawrence as Clemson. I like the Tigers.
Well, I don't think Notre Dame's number 4. I think Clemson can beat them without Trevor, so I'm a orange man today.
Oh, okay. Neil on an island.
I'm on an island. I am the rock. I am the island. Tennessee at Tennessee.
That was dreadfully close to something.
I am a rock. And it's Tennessee and Arkansas. And who hasn't gone first yet? Scott, have you gone first yet?
I have not, but I will be happy to go first. Okay. I like the Hogs and Sam Pittman to win at home to beat Tennessee. They've lost 3 in a row coming into this game. The Volunteers have, and I think it's 4 in a row today.
All right. It's a matchup of 2 quarterbacks who Georgia fans never want to see graduate. Okay, Felipe Franks and Jared Garantano. Home field edge goes to Sam Pittman and the Hogs. Lauren?
I'm going to rubber stamp the Hogs.
Listen, I like Arkansas as well, but
I know what's coming.
To keep harmony
at home. There we go. There it is.
To keep harmony at home and to keep it close amongst us, I'm going to go with the Tennessee Volunteers.
Okay. Thank you very much. Aren't you generous? Magnanimous, that's the word I was searching.
Stupid is the word you're looking
for. Go join those who are asleep. Those who have been listening.
That's right.
Thank you, men, very much. Ice down those cold ones, folks. It's the Dogs and the Gators. Coach Smart reveals an exclusive scattering report with our Scott Howard in 2 minutes right here, Bulldog Sports Network.
It's bow time.
Grill out of gas on game day? Drop a big bow box on it. Feed a family of 4 with 8 pieces of chicken, biscuits, fixings, and tea with the Georgia Bulldogs Big Bow Box for $19.99.
It's bow time.
Nothing kicks off your game better than a handful of Georgia peanuts.
Power-packed with protein, essential nutrients, and great taste, Georgia peanuts are the MVP for affordability, sustainability, and nutrition. To score life's touchdowns with recipes and fun facts, check out GAPeanuts.com. The perfectly powerful peanut is brought to you by the family farmers of the Georgia Peanut Commission.
Peanuts! Get your peanuts!
The official Georgia football game program has gone fully digital and is now free to access. The paperback game program is no longer offered, so log on to georgiadogs.com/digital to get everything you need to know heading into this week's matchup against Florida. georgiadogs.com/digital.
This is your home of the Dogs. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
With thousands of locally owned NAPA stores across the nation, chances are that wherever you call home, we do too. And that's why you can find us in big cities, small towns, and everywhere in between, doing what we've always done to help keep our local communities moving forward. So whether you stop by a NAPA Auto Parts store, Auto Care Center, or visit us at NAPA online, you can count on NAPA know-how.
Get ready for kickoff at the UGA Bookstore, featuring the best Bulldog gifts and apparel. Shop all the great brands at the UGA Bookstore like Nike, Tommy Bahama, Vineyard Vines, and Southern Tide. The UGA Bookstore is the exclusive home of the UGA 10 collection by Peter Millar. The UGA Bookstore in the heart of campus, next to the Tate Student Center. Shop online 24/7 at UGABookstore.com. The UGA Bookstore, it's where dogs shop.
Play here.
Wow! Power straight ahead. Touchdown!
You're listening to the NAPA Tailgate Show.
Here's Gatewood. In the pocket, steps up. He has no time left. We will sack him with Jermaine Johnson, the junior college transfer from Minnesota, twisting Gatewood down to the turf at the 23-yard line.
All right, we have a short delay with Coach Smart. He will be with us within the next 10 minutes or so. But right now, Lauren has a special guest. And Lauren, take it away.
All right, Greg McGarity. He's seen this game wearing orange. He's seen it wearing red and black. Just had a tremendous amount of exciting games here over the years. Greg, do you have a favorite game?
Wow.
You were here for Blue to Scott?
I'll just talk about the Georgia favorite games, okay?
Okay.
Which obviously 80 tops them all, but also the Mud Bowl, which I forgot what, 66 when we won 51-0, I think.
That was 58.
I don't think I remember that one, okay? It might have been a little bit later than that, but, I think the 81 is always special. And then the last few years with Kirby have been fantastic too, so let's hopefully make it another one.
Well, Greg, you are familiar with the stats involving this game. What does this game mean to the city of Jacksonville? Do you know the numbers?
It's been a financial windfall not only to the city but to the institutions as well. But the tradition of the game, this is the first time we've seen this stadium in its NFL form. There are no temporary bleachers, and you're seeing really what an NFL stadium looks like, as our patrons that are here today will be able to enjoy it in a much more relaxed atmosphere. So it means so much, not only to the city, but I think both institutions as well, because it is a special venue, it's a special city, it's a special game. And even though it won't quite have the aura that it always has, I'm sure between the lines it'll be as competitive as it always is.
Big game for Georgia, big game for Florida too. Win this one, you got the inside track for the SEC championship game again. Georgia's done well in that game, getting to that game under Kirby. What do you see down the road, Greg? Will we be able to get in the playoffs? Clemson quarterback tested positive out this game with Notre Dame, but getting through the season and getting to the playoffs, how do you see that shaking out?
Well, all we know is we can control. I know people get tired of hearing about it, but control what you can control, and that's our effort, and that's our being able to win ball games. And if you do those, then things usually take care of themselves. So if we can control what we control and not pay attention to things that are out of our control, the better chance we have to advance into bowl season, postseason, all these type dynamics at play. But let's just focus on what we can do and control that.
A lot of critics they're just in the dark, want to know what's going on at quarterback. What do you say to people when they can't be satisfied with what the coaches are telling us?
Well, one word: trust. These coaches, these players, they see it every day. And I think the way they've rallied around Stetson has been absolutely fantastic, and it tells the story of how much he's respected among his teammates, what he's done to put himself in the position now. So I think it's great, and like anything else, you leave it up to the professionals. Those coaches are in the room. They see every step, every exchange, every good pass, bad pass, and you just have to trust them to make those decisions because that's what they're doing. And I have all the confidence in the world in Kirby and his staff to take care of those things. And I don't even go into that area. But that's the trust you have to have at this level that you don't even question it.
Well, Kirby has had the top recruiting class in the country 2 out of the last 3 years. The off year is number 2. You recruit for these situations. So if one goes down, 2 can step in and be not much fall off.
Yeah, and it's, lacking experience at these high-level games is the only thing that you really don't know because these young men have practiced. Some have just practiced a few months because they weren't able to take care of early season practice or spring practice when you're trying to install all you're trying to install, especially offensively. So we're all working under the same type conditions and everything, but for us a little unique with Todd Monken coming on and trying to navigate those waters, and then some situations at quarterback that sort of changed the script. So hey, you manage it, you move forward, you don't make excuses, and you just take care of things that you can control.
All right, Greg McGarry, very fine athletic director, University of Georgia, and Athens boy who made good. And we go back over to Neil.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Greg, thanks for coming by. Love having you up here in the booth with us. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Bulldog Sports Network. Our Dogs improved to 4-1 with last week's win over Kentucky. Pull out a W here today in Jacksonville, and we're making like Chase Elliott in Martinsville, man. We are in the driver's seat in the East. Let's do it. Number 5, Georgia. 8th ranked Florida. Coming up next, a classic Dogs Gators Larry Munson call. That'll be in just a few minutes. We have Coach Smart next. Okay, very good. Coach Smart coming up next, and then that classic call with Larry on the Bulldog Sports Network.
Hello and welcome to Keno Talk.
Hi, it's Dan. My parrot and I want to play Keno.
It's easy. You pick up the 10 numbers, then Keno picks 20.
Keno picks 20.
Shish.
The more you match, the more you win.
The more you match, the more you win.
I know already.
You can win up to $100,000 every 3.5 minutes.
$100,000 every 3.5 minutes.
I heard him.
Just play, you idiot. Just play, you idiot.
Put it out.
Play Keno from anywhere and win up to $100,000 over 300 times a day.
Long-lasting protection against COVID-19 is crucial to a safe living and work environment. That's why Georgia Athletics has chosen Cleanwell Services as their official disinfection partner. The trained technicians at Cleanwell use a CDC and EPA-approved nanotechnology-based cleaner that sticks to surfaces for an industry-leading protection lasting beyond 30 days. The Bulldogs trust Cleanwell, and if your business wants to keep your employees and customers safe, you also need to trust Cleanwell. Visit cleanwell.services to get started today.
The Dogs are heard right here. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
I'm Monty Watson, UGA alum and chairman and CEO of the Piedmont Bank. As a banker, I know numbers, and the numbers that matter most to us Georgia fans are the numbers that are on the scoreboard when the clock runs out. But in business, there's no scoreboard and the clock never stops. That's why at Piedmont Bank, banking is more than the numbers. Our business customers know they're ranked number 1, and that means we never stop helping them reimagine their businesses in Georgia and beyond. Get to know us today at piedmont.bank/UGA. And most importantly, go Dogs.
Glory! Glory to old Georgia! The Dogs are unleashed, and so are the savings. Scana Energy is a proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs. So sing, cheer, and put on your red and black in honor of our team. Celebrate the Dogs' journey to glory this football NAPATailgate.com to save.
Counting you down to kickoff.
He goes down underneath. Big George Davis crushed.
You're listening to the Napa Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
And the Dogs have the ball on the Gator 45-yard line, 1st and 10. Moving to our left, Fromm under center, hands off, Sony Michel, big hole at left tackle, Sony, 35-30, race to the end zone, 20, 15, 10, 5, get to the corner, touchdown, Sony Michel, yes indeed, his second of the game. Back here on the Bulldogs Tailgate Show, I'm Scott Howard with Coach Kirby Smart as Georgia and Florida get ready to kick it off in just a little bit here in Jacksonville. We're going to take a look at today's opponent, the Florida Gators. Of course, Coach is going to give us a little bit of a scouting report on this Gator team. And Kirby, have you seen enough video of Florida this week to get you prepared for today's ball game?
Absolutely. I saw enough in the off season and in the off week. I feel like to get me prepared. It was good to get an added game because they had played that one less game, so it was good to get another game to see them play when they play Missouri and get prepared for them.
Is your preparation a little bit different because they shut down their program for a couple of weeks with the virus and missed a week of playing, and they had guys out in their game last week against Missouri, so do you know their roster, or do you feel like you do? Who's going to be available for them today?
Yeah, I don't know who all will be available today, but I feel like I know their roster well, and you've been able to see the guys play, and they really didn't have injuries or COVID exemption guys in those first games. And they had a couple out against Missouri, and they had some out during the 2-week break there. But, yeah, we feel comfortable about knowing who they are.
Tell us a little bit about their offense and what you've learned about them.
Well, they're explosive. They got good playmakers, good decision maker and leader at the quarterback position, a lot of experience at the offensive line. They're big, really big up front. They're guys that they wear you down because it takes extra effort to rush the passer, and they pass the ball quite a bit to the point where they get you tired, and you can only rush the passer so long. So you gotta be in good shape and good condition.
What are your thoughts on Trask, the quarterback?
Good player, been in our league a while, understands what Dan wants. Dan does a good job communicating to him. They have a good rapport, and he understands Dan's offense inside and out. So for every wrinkle you give them or curveball you throw them, they've got an answer for that.
And they've got some pretty good weapons on offense too, right?
Yeah, they got great weapons. Kyle Pitts is as good as there is in the country. Kadarius Toney's playing really well at a high level.
How's their running game? Do they seem to like the pass more than the run? But what are your thoughts on the ground attack?
Well, they've got good backs. Damian Pierce is physical, man. He's a heavy downhill runner. They're committed to the run to the point where they don't want you to ever think that they're not going to run it. They do a good job running the football when they want to because they're so big, and they mix the run game and the play action pass really well.
And they'll get Toney involved in that running game too, right?
Yeah, a lot of handoffs, a lot of speed sweeps and things for him to touch the ball.
Let's jump over to defense and tell us a little bit about the defensive unit for the Gators.
Yeah, their defensive unit is big. They've got a really big front. They've got all their guys back up front. They're Kyrie Campbell and T.D. Slayton. They've got guys that are just massive and hard to move. And when you start looking across there, it's good outside backers. Brenton that was here and Jeremiah Moon. They've got talented guys on the edges. And probably the best overall player, just football player, is Ventrell Miller. He's very instinctive, fast, a really good Mike linebacker. And they play well behind those guys.
One of their guys up front, Zachary Carter, is going to miss the first half today because of that incident with Missouri last week. Does that alter anything for the first 2 quarters of the ball game?
Not really, because again, they've got Kyrie Campbell back, so they've got their bigger bodies back. He was playing a little bit out of position for them because they were down. So last week was the first week they had their 2 big DTs in there. They got those 2 guys in there that are very comparable to Jordan and Devontae. And when you've got those 2 guys in there, it's hard to run between the tackles.
Will they blitz a lot today? You expecting that?
They pressure on third down quite a bit, yep.
And you're familiar with Todd Grantham type defense and anything out of the ordinary that you might expect today?
No, I don't think so. He'll line up play. They'll play what they play and boil down to the plays the players make, and at the end of the day, players got to go out and out execute each other.
How their special team units look?
really talented. They got a great return game, do a good job in the return game. Kadarius Toney's hard to tackle, hard to get down. The field goal kicker does a great job, and it's always a challenge when you play them because they have speed at all the units.
Coach, thanks for your time. Thanks for the update on Florida. We appreciate it. Good luck today.
Thank you. Go Dogs.
That's Coach Kirby Smart and our look at the Florida Gators. Hondo, back to you for more of the Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
All right, thank you, Scott. Thank you, Coach. Time now to check where the Dogs rank, presented by Northside Hospital. Georgia enters today's SEC East showdown with Florida, ranked 5th in the latest AP Top 25 poll. And the Northside Hospital Cardiovascular Institute is committed to your good health and the health of your family. Their physicians treat heart disease with the latest testing and technology. At Northside, they're all about excellence at heart. To schedule an appointment, call 404-962-6000 or visit northsidecvi.com and let the healing begin. We're counting you down to kickoff. We appreciate you taking us along today as you run errands or attend youth sports or even get to those leaves out there in the yard. I'm sure there are plenty of them in yours if yours is like mine. This is the Bulldogs Sports Network.
I'm attorney Ken Nugent, and I'm here with legendary Georgia Bulldog quarterback and radio host Buck Ballou.
Ken and I are teaming up to give back to the brave men and women of our military. Ken's going to donate $500 to one member of the military every Bulldog football game this season.
If you're a member of the military in Atlanta, go to attorneykennugent.com to enter.
And somebody's going to win $500 every game.
One click.
That's it.
Ken Nugent, proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
You've got a great piece of land, ideal for hunting, but when it comes to managing that land, don't count on an ATV to do the job of a tractor. Massey Ferguson has reinvented what compact tractors can be and redefined what they do, making our tractors perfect for the cutting, hauling, digging, and plowing you need to do to create food plots and manage trails. Learn more at masseyferguson.us. See the newly designed Massey Ferguson GC 1700 and 1700 M Series today.
Don't go anywhere. The Dogs are coming right back. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
This holiday season, hurry into the Road Home sales event and conquer any terrain on your trip back with the remarkably versatile BMW X3, the spacious BMW X5, or the iconic 3 Series. This year, don't just take the road home, truly experience it in the ultimate driving machine. Hurry into the BMW Road Home sales event for exceptional offers today.
Take advantage of our holiday credit today. Visit BMWATL.com for details. Go Dogs!
In need of a new adventure? The best things happen outdoors, and it all starts with Gander RV. Did you know you can hit the road and see all of the sights America has to offer in a new 2021 RV for less than $5 a day? Plus, Gander RV has all your essential RV accessories to make sure you get the most out of your next trip. See America for less. Visit your local Gander RV off I-85 in Beaufort or online at ganderrv.com today. See dealer for full offer details. Offer expires 12/31/20.
Look at the sugar falling out of the sky. We just stepped on their face with a hobnail boot and broke their nose.
Georgia football history through the voice of a legend.
My God almighty, did you see what he did? You talk about a stupid miracle.
Here's another listen back to Larry Munson's greatest calls. Presented by Northside Hospital, Atlanta. With decades of experience performing both routine and complex surgeries, Northside Hospital leads Georgia in surgery innovation. Learn more at northside.com/surgery.
Gators up to the line. How many wideouts they're going to have? Right now, 3 have gone 100 miles across the field. 4th down and about 19 full yards to go. As Peace drops back, and a man broke and just missed him. He's running around the goal line. He throws it low and incomplete on the 25-yard line. Freddie Gilbert almost got him. And Mike Weaver came flying in there with his helmet 9 yards behind him. Gilbert almost got him, and then Weaver and Peace, under that pressure, could only roll to the right and throw it on the ground. You've got 61 seconds. 10-9. They came down 6 times. They had the ball all day, and we never had the ball.
1983, Quarterback John Lastinger directed the Dogs on a 99-yard fourth-quarter drive to take the lead. The UGA defense then finished the drill, as you heard there from Larry Munson, a thrilling 10-9 triumph over 9th-ranked Florida. That victory was Georgia's 6th consecutive win over the Gators at the time. Today, our Dogs are looking for their longest win streak over Florida since that 1983 win. If we down the Gators today, that'll be 4 in a row over UF. Dogs fans, the official Georgia football game program has gone fully digital and is now free to access. Log on to georgiadogs.com/digital to get everything you need to know heading into today's matchup against Florida. And while you're there, be sure to check out the game breakdown each week with Scott Howard, Eric Zier, and other Bulldog legends. That's the digital game program at georgiadogs.com/digital. Stay with us. Georgia's defense is depleted. Today, we have to find a way to stop that Florida juggernaut. Eric Zier shares his expertise in less than 10 minutes on the Bulldog Sports Network.
You always dreamed of owning your own farm. Now you're living your dream, and it's time to pick the tractor that makes it all come together. Massey Ferguson has reinvented what compact and utility tractors can be and redefined what they do, making them easier to operate, more comfortable to drive, more versatile than ever. Learn more at masseyferguson.us. See the newly redesigned Massey Ferguson GC 1700 and 1700M series today.
Napa know-how. Get all the quality parts you need at your locally owned Napa. Because right now, when you order from Napa online, you can pick up curbside at your local store in just 30 minutes. Or get your order delivered direct to your door with free one-day shipping and over 160,000 quality parts when you spend $35 or more. Quality parts delivered quickly and safely. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how. At participating stores, standard ground shipping and exclusions apply.
This is Georgia Football, brought to you by Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. You instantly get a list of quality candidates from Indeed's resume database the moment you sponsor a job. Get started at Indeed.com/credit.
It's bow time.
Grill out of gas on game day? Drop a big bow box on it. Feed a family of 4 with 8 pieces of chicken, biscuits, fixings, and tea with the Georgia Bulldogs Big Bow Box for $19.99.
It's bow time.
Your heart begins to heal the moment you choose Northside Hospital Cardiovascular Institute for your care. We've added a team of the nation's very best cardiovascular doctors to one of the top community hospitals in the country. With their leading expertise and the powerful resources of the Northside Network, our doctors get to the very heart of your needs. Because bringing the best possible care to Georgia is at the heart of everything we do. Northside Hospital Cardiovascular Institute. Excellence at heart.
The official Georgia football game program has gone fully digital and is now free to access. The paperback game program is no longer offered, so log on to georgiadogs.com/digital to get everything you need to know heading into this week's matchup against Florida. georgiadogs.com/digital.
It's time to unleash the dogs.
In the pocket, nowhere to go. We got a sack him. We sack him for a big loss, and the ball goes over on downs.
Welcome back to the Napa Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
Play fake Harriet, bootleg. Fromm sets up all day to throw. Downfield, he's got Gager. 28, 20, 10, 5. Give him 6. Touchdown.
Georgia and Florida meeting as top 10 teams for the 3rd straight season. Thank you for joining us here on our Napa Tailgate Show. Let's pass it over to Lauren Smith. Lauren.
Thank you. Happy to have our good friend, longtime sports writer, sports columnist for the Jacksonville Papers, really veteran observer of this game and a lot of years covering the Florida Gators, so maybe we can get from Gene Fournette a little bit of a scouting report on the Gators. Bring us up to date. How do you see the Gator team today coming in?
Well, one of the things that was an Achilles heel for the Gators, particularly in the first 3 games, was their defense. I mean, their defense was dreadful, to be quite honest, but having Kari Campbell back on that defensive line seemed to make a big difference in last week's game against Missouri. Now, that's one game. I'm not saying it's going to carry over till today, but I think the Gators feel a lot more comfortable with Campbell there. And keep in mind, they had 2 weeks to prepare, too. I mean, they had 2 straight weeks off, so they're very well rested, as is Georgia coming in today. But, obviously, when you look at the depth chart and when you look at who's out, I mean, it clearly favors the Gators this week because Georgia's, to have Richard LeCount out, to have Julian Rochester out, to have Pickens out, I mean, that's a big bite out of both sides of the ball. So even though Georgia's a 3-point favorite today, I kind of like the Gators' chances a little bit better because I think two things. I think Florida has a little bit more margin for error, and I think their offense has a little bit more of an explosive element to it. Now, how does Georgia offset that? They offset by having their tackles have a really good game, allowing Zamir White. I just think Stetson Bennett is the type of quarterback that he's not going to bring you back, I don't think, from a 10-point deficit. So if he can stay on, if Georgia can stay ahead of the sticks and play with a lead or play tied, then I think it'll be a tight game. But I do like Florida just because I just think when you have a big edge at quarterback, that's a huge difference. So I think Florida might have an edge from that respect. But let's not ignore the fact that Kirby Smart's won 3 straight games against Florida. And Dan Mullen acknowledged this week about how well schemed Georgia's defense has been, and that Kirby has all the answers to all the questions inside and out, which is basically his way of saying that Kirby will scheme up that defense really well.
Well, I guess the Georgia partisans certainly hope that's the case. Gene, we talked on the phone this week. Let's flash back to 1980 when the sensational play Beluta Scott kept Georgia from the loss column, did not lose a game that year, went on to win the national championship. And you think that was the greatest play in SEC history?
I do. Now, some might argue for the Billy Cannon run in 1959, 89-yard punt return against Ole Miss when LSU was undefeated, ranked number 1 in the country. The only difference is, in my opinion, is that Beluta Scott kept Georgia alive for the SEC title, and they went also on to win the national title. LSU went on to lose a couple games after that, LSU Ole Miss. So the significance of that, when it's attached to a SEC and national title, that elevates it in the eyes of many people. I don't know if that play would have had the same stature if Georgia hadn't gone on to win the SEC and national title. It would have been memorable, no question about it. But for that reason, I think it's the greatest play in SEC history. I don't know if it's the greatest play in college football history. That could be arguable because, there are certain things that we forget about. And when I say great, it can't just be something memorable like the Kyle Stanford band play. It has to be something that beyond the outcome has to carry significance beyond that. And I think when you're talking about having national title implications, that certainly adds to the legacy of a play.
Gene, let me jump in here, Lauren. When Larry Munson was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame, when the old Hall of Fame used to be up in South Bend, and I went up with him for his induction ceremony. I got there a couple hours before Larry did. We flew up separately, pardon me. And I walked through the Hall of Fame, and there were all these kiosks with different plays, like the 8 craziest plays in college, wrong way Regals, and the 8 greatest plays and all that. There are probably 32 plays in all, and of the 32, I watched them all. Only one had audio, and it was that one.
Wow. Well, there's no question. I mean, talking to Buck Bellew this week, I mean, he acknowledged that it wasn't until afterwards they heard about the radio call, and that certainly adds to the legend of the play. I mean, when you got an announcer talking about property being destroyed, I mean that just adds to the color and pageantry of the play.
It did. And Gene, we're out of time, Lauren, but you can say goodbye to Gene. Ask him one more if you want to. But Lindsey Scott said to us in a setting, Lauren, you were with me when we did something one night when he said, I made the play. Buck and I made the play, and Nat Hudson made the block and all that. He goes, but Larry, you made me legendary with that call. Your call made me legendary.
Well, I mean, when when you finish the play, you don't call it a touchdown. All you say is Lindsey Scott, Lindsey Scott, Lindsey Scott. I mean,
it's phenomenal.
Well, I just wanted to make sure, and you've already made sure it was not overlooked, but that block by Nat Hudson.
Yeah.
There's no Beluga Scott. There's no SEC championship. There's no national championship without Nat Hudson peeling off from the line of scrimmage and getting a streaking linebacker off of Buck.
Yeah.
Had that block had not taken place, none of all this would be.
It might have very well been a strip sack because he was coming from the blind side and Buck wouldn't have been able to see him.
Yeah, very good. All right, thanks very much, Gene Fournette, with us. Thank you, Gene.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, very good. All right, thank you, Lauren. Great to always talk about that play. You know what? I think we will dial that play up before we walk out of here today with our NAPA Tailgate show. How's that sound? Quality parts, helpful people. That's NAPA Know-How. Our producers of today's show are Zach Jewell and Tony Schiavone. Eric Zier's expert analysis on Florida's quarterback supreme, Kyle Trask, coming up in 2 minutes. It's a critical fight for a 2-game lead in the SEC East today at 3:40 on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
I'm John Addison, a lifetime Bulldog fan, Georgia graduate, and the chairman of distribution for Primerica, the largest independent financial services marketing company in North America. Primerica is a Main Street company for Main Street families. We help people from all walks of life achieve their goals and dreams by offering common sense financial solutions to today's challenges. As a Georgia-based company, Primerica is proud to continue to sponsor Georgia football. Go Dogs!
Hey, DJ, Chocolate, do you listen to podcasts?
I love podcasts.
Well, we have a podcast, and it's kind of the Bulldog podcast talk show that isn't always about the Georgia Bulldogs. Of course, we touch on it. We also have some great guests each week. Some of them went to Georgia, and some of them didn't.
We have a good time. We talk about anything and everything, and usually it goes everywhere. So, Wes, where do we go from here?
The Shock and Ship Podcast. Find new episodes weekly and other great Bulldogs content at GeorgiaDogs.com. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Neil Honda Williamson here from my friends at Engineered Solutions of Georgia. If you see a crack in your wall, call ESOG. Locally owned and operated, ESOG is a proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
With so many new pet owners, Kezia's Grooming can't keep up.
Kezia's Grooming? Sorry, we're booked solid through the weekend. I can give you a call back, though, if something opens up.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
At Zaxby's, chicken and delicious go hand in hand. As in hand-breaded, hand-seasoned, and handmade to order. There's only one place you can get chicken like that. Zaxby's.
It's game day, and the dogs are ready to eat.
And it is caught! Touchdown! Money time!
Let's rejoin the NAPA Tailgate Show.
It's second down and goal from the 3. Stafford under center. Power formation with Chappis in as well. Handoff, Marino, left side. He plows over a man! Touchdown! Mushan, left side. He got into the end zone.
End zone chaos for that one. Anyone? Yeah, I'll take the flag for 15 yards for 600, please, Alex. Right? I mean,
I'll take it a lot.
I'll take
this afternoon.
Yes, sir. That was 2007. Noshawn beating Urban and Tebow and the Gators. Back at it for the 99th time in the series today. Number 5 Georgia versus 8th-ranked Florida. Eric Zier and your old buddy Hondo inside the stadium as many of the players warm up below us. Time now to discuss Georgia's defense and the challenges posed by the Gators. First, Z, we'll see several Bulldog reserves get their shots today due to injuries to others.
Those guys work really hard for those opportunities, and I look forward to seeing them play, to be honest with you. That's what they came to Georgia to do, to play in some of these big games, and we'll have some guys that have to step up, play more snaps, put a greater burden on some of the guys that are already playing, probably play more snaps in regards to that.
There's Coach Smart. And Eric, with so many injuries, we lose not only the players who'd be participating, but I'm not sure I've heard anybody else really think this through, or say it at least. When you move the number 2 guys up to number 1, you also move the number 3 guys up to number 2. And that's where you can really, our recruiting's been great, right? Except if you have to start bringing in people to spell others who were 3rd string a couple of weeks ago, now you're kind of scraping a little bit further down the barrel.
Yeah, and we're going to have to, especially the way that we rotate players in and out. Listen, we get some luxury out of that too, because the guys that have been in that second rotation, we know what those guys can do because they've been given time. But now you're absolutely doing that, because you're not going to be able to put the guys that start the game, keep them in there for the entirety of the football game. It's not the way this defense is built. It's not the way Kirby likes to really run his personnel in and out of games. So you're going to be seeing guys that you haven't seen because of that rotation that you're talking about. We knew attrition was going to play a role in this season at some point. You don't go through 10 SEC games and not have attrition. That's where depth and talent, the depth of talent that you have, is going to pay dividends. I don't think any of us thought that we'd be in this situation that we're in, with the number of guys that have been out for one reason or another. And it gets doubly difficult today as well, because Florida has had one game in the past 3 weeks. They come into this game fresh. We come into this game beat up. It's a closely matched contest regardless. But because of that factor alone, I think you give the edge to Florida right now. We've got to come out and take the fight to them immediately.
All right, number 8, Florida, 2nd in the SEC, 10th in the U.S. in scoring offense, averaging 42 points per game. They are helmed by quarterback Kyle Trask.
The maturation he's had is he's played in our league now, and once you get that valuable experience, it's hard to trick them. You don't trick guys. They've seen it before. You have to ultimately be able to defend their people with your people. You're not going to win a scheme battle.
That's Coach Kirby Smart, and yeah, no question, the 6'5", 240-pound redshirt senior, he is battle-tested. He has seen about every look that you can throw against him. He has a plethora of weapons around him that he utilizes very well. He's accurate. He's experienced. He knows where to go with the football. But if there's one thing that he hasn't seen a whole lot of, and maybe the one weakness, if you even call it a weakness, is he's not the most mobile of quarterbacks. If you can get him on the move and you can pressure him, he's not going to hurt you with his legs like some of the quarterbacks that we have seen over the past couple of years playing at very high levels that could beat you with their arm and their legs. He's more of a one-dimensional guy. Very, very good. We're going to have to get after him and apply pressure just with 4 people because he's got so many weapons. It's going to be difficult for the Dogs today to line up, pin our ears back, and come. We've got to find a way to move Trask out of the pocket, make him change his launch point, and do that with only 4 down linemen. But Kyle Trask, right now, one of the best in the business.
Well, he sure is, and this may not be a fair question because we have not seen him play in person this year, and perhaps we bottled him up today. But I'll ask you again after the game: Mac Jones or Kyle Trask? You're starting the team tomorrow.
I'll tell you, pretty hard decision because both guys are playing at a very high level. I think because of what I just said, I'd probably go Mac Jones. Just a little more athleticism that Mac Jones brings to the table than what we've seen Kyle Trask bring to the table, but both guys playing at very high levels.
All right, great, Eric. Thank you very much. The Gators present an offensive load, friends. Florida is 21 for 21 in red zone scoring this season. 16 of those have been touchdowns. Kyle Trask has several talented options available to him. We'll discuss some of those when Eric returns with the game plan in 10 minutes on the NAPA Tailgate Show. The voice of the Dog, Scott Howard, is next, though. This is the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Northside Hospital reminds you to stay safe and stay healthy during the pandemic. It's easy to do a few simple things every day. Wash your hands frequently and disinfect hard surfaces in your home. Don't touch your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Always wear a mask in public and wash your hands before and after removing your mask. And if you're in a crowded place, stay at least 6 feet apart from others. For more information and CDC safety guidelines, go to northside.com/COVID-19.
Dealing with constant changes, not easy. Letting go of my inner perfectionist, not easy. but crossing a few things off my financial to-do list. Surprisingly simple.
Regent's tools and advice make it easy to manage your money. From podcasts and webinars to budget and savings calculators, we'll help you find your financial comfort zone.
Those few little financial tweaks have made a big difference.
Check off some financial to-dos at regents.com/bravethebeginning. Regions Bank, member FDIC, official bank of the SEC.
This is your home of the Dogs. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
At Zaxby's, there's nothing better than hand-breaded chicken, unless it's hand-breaded chicken with sauce. From sweet to savory, mild to wild, even that world-famous Zax sauce. Whatever you're craving, we've got the sauce at Zaxby's.
Slot right, blue 42, hut, hut. Great quarterbacks are rare. They're true leaders with a work ethic that never wavers and a desire to win that is second to none. We know a truck like that. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling truck 43 years straight. With impressive towing and payload, Ford F-150 makes tough jobs look easy. Visit your local Ford dealer and score a great offer on F-150, the official truck of the Georgia Bulldogs. Based on 1977 to 2019 calendar year total sales.
The official Georgia football game program has gone fully digital and is now free to access. The paperback game program is no longer offered, so log on to georgiadogs.com/digital to get everything you need to know heading into this week's matchup against Florida. georgiadogs.com/digital.
We're counting you down to kickoff for the inside track on today's game.
28, 20, 10, 5, give him 6, touchdown!
Here's more from the crew on the NAPA Tailgate Show.
We bring 5, and Gatewood will run it himself. The ball came out. We stripped it out. Georgia, I think, has recovered the fumble. If indeed it is a fumble, and it is. The Dogs stripped out Gatewood and recovered it. Richard LeCount with the football.
The SEC Defensive Player of the Week for his stellar performance last Saturday in Lexington, Richie LeCount. He will not suit up for the Dogs today.
We're confident with the guys that we have in our room. They're prepared, right? They get a lot of reps in practice. So I don't have any doubt in my mind about the guys, having to step up.
There's Georgia cornerback Tyson Campbell, who, like Coach Smart, has confidence in Christopher Smith, who will sub at safety for LeCount.
Chris has played a lot for us. Richard came out of the one game for targeting, and then he came in and played for Lewis the other day. So we feel like Chris has gotten a lot of experience. Chris works really hard in practice, and he's ready to play. Tyreek Stevenson's worked back there. Breeny's worked back there.
And the voice of the Dogs, Scott Howard, rejoins us here in the SCANA broadcast booth. And, Scott, our recruiting has been fantastic. We have depth galore to hopefully help salve painful situations like this one. But there's more to Richie LeCount's value than just what he brings as a player. There's that leadership factor as well.
Yeah, he's definitely the old cliche, the coach on the field. He's the quarterback on the defense, and he plays like that. I mean, he takes that role seriously and gets the guys lined up properly and all of the things that go with being the leader on defense. And his performance on the field is absolutely going to be missed today. I mean, he leads the league, shares the lead in interceptions. Had another one last week. Probably would have had a touchdown on it. Didn't hang on to the football, and he was a little miffed about that. And then the unfortunate circumstances of being in the accident last Saturday, which has knocked him out of this ball game. And again, we hope he recovers quickly and safely and all of that. But yeah, he's definitely going to be missed today for a lot of different reasons. When he's not on the field, when he's on the sidelines. Yeah. I mean, you miss him there too for the insight and all of that stuff that he provides to the rest of the defensive players when he's not on the field.
Yeah, and I don't want to say this pejoratively, but we are talking about 18 to 19-year-olds here. When you have someone with a calming and intelligent and leadership, all the qualities that Richie LeCount has, it helps. I think it helps reduce the knucklehead factor that you have. And I don't mean
we need him up here, don't we?
Yeah, we definitely need him up here. But you know what I mean. And I'm not saying that pejoratively about any players in particular.
No, I get you.
But you do have guys who might not be thinking the way they should be thinking or doing their jobs the way they should. And then, as you said, that coach on the field and on the sideline, that extra
Yeah, no, he's the guy on when you're on the bench and you're, maybe you're blowing off steam about something that just happened, or you got screamed at by a coach, or you messed up on a play, or you weren't, he's that calming force, and he's that guy that can kind of get your mind right when you go back out there.
All right, what's the latest on the MASH report for the D-line?
Well, we know that Julian Rochester is gone for the rest of the season. We don't expect Jordan Davis to be able to go today. We're likely to see a lot of Jalen Carter and some Warren Brinson, who we saw last week, and all of those other guys, Wyatt and Herring and Walker, and all of those other guys should be good to go. So we'll see a good steady mix, but no Rochester and no Davis.
Oh, boy. Okay. Thank you, Scott. The hour of reckoning approacheth. Our 5th-ranked Dogs look to defend our SEC East crown at 3:40 today against number 8 Florida. Only 18,000 in attendance. Place is empty right now. It is a little eerie here in Jacksonville when you go through the parking lots. And if you've ever been down here and been accustomed to the madness that is the nickname that shall not be said here in Jacksonville, it's a little different than it has been, but we hopefully will be back to normal by next year. Eric Zier returns in 2 minutes to game plan for today's bloodbath. Plus, up next, it's the Ken Nugent Call of the Week on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Everybody remembers the amazing light show last year when we ran the Fighting Irish out of Sanford Stadium that made Georgia the envy of college football. I'm Kenny Mullins, business manager for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613. Every light in Sanford Stadium was installed by an IBEW electrician. We also light up the practice facility and many other buildings on campus. Learn more about the IBEW at IBEW613.org. Go Dogs!
A Black Friday sales event.
And there's going to be a review on that play. Here's the decision.
On further review, call of the field stands. Athens Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram does have the best new car selection and the best deals.
That's no surprise. It's what we've come to expect over the last 16 years from this trusted hometown dealer. Athens Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, 4145 Atlanta Highway, or AthensDCJR.com.
The Dogs are heard right here. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? O'Reilly Auto Parts has everything you need. Our professional parts people can suggest the best products for your car and budget, like 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil, just $28.95. Plus, earn a $10 gift card after mail-in rebate and double O Rewards points. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
These days I'm spending a lot more time at home, which means I need ways to easily control my comfort. And here's an insider tip. If you're a Georgia Power residential customer, you may be eligible for up to a $75 instant rebate on a smart thermostat. Here's how. Georgia Power's online marketplace features thermostats from brands like Google Nest, Honeywell, and Ecobee, as well as a variety of LEDs and smart home products like smart speakers, Wi-Fi routers, indoor cameras, and more. Just visit the site and start shopping. Shop now at GeorgiaPowerMarketplace.com.
You're listening to Georgia football.
Over the shoulder catch at the 10, 5, touchdown right down the seam.
Now back to the NAPA Tailgate Show.
This moment of commitment is brought to you by Georgia Farm Bureau Insurance, always the home team. The University of Georgia is committed to tackling the grand challenges of our time. Our researchers are working to improve human health, create a more secure future, and build stronger communities. We're driven to making discoveries that bring solutions to improve our world for generations to come. It's more than our mission. It's more than our passion. It's our commitment.
Bennett, handoff. Zamir. He's got the first down and more. Stumbling, keeping his balance. 15, 10, 5, touchdown. That's a way to pick up a first down on 4th and 1.
Georgia's Zamir White and the offensive line getting it done on the ground last week versus Kentucky. And that was today's Make the Call, presented by Ken Nugent. One call, that's all. Time now for today's game plan, brought to you by Country Financial. Don't get overwhelmed. Get started at countryfinancial.com. Neil Hondo Williamson, Eric Zier. Moments ago, we dissected Kyle Trask's many talents. Trask goes to battle with a plethora of potent sidekicks. 8th-ranked Florida lost 4 receivers from last year's roster, and I'm not sure anybody's noticed yet.
You got to cover Kyle Pitts, and Kyle Trask knows that, and he does a good job of finding him and finding the other guys he's got as weapons.
Top of that list, the game plan for Florida tight end Kyle Pitts.
The quarterback knows where to throw the ball to give him a shot, and there's not an easy answer for that. It's not like a textbook answer of this is how you stop him. You're not going to do that. What you do is contain him and hope that you don't get hit on explosives and that the team understands where he is.
That's Coach Kirby Smart talking about the all-everything Kyle Pitts, tight end from University of Florida, without question one of the top tight ends, if not the top tight end in the country. And what makes him so difficult to plan for is the Gators do a great job of moving him all over the field. You'll see him in a prototypical tight end position with his hand in the ground. You'll see him in slot positions. You'll see him out wide. So very difficult to come in and just say, hey, I'm going to go double wherever Kyle Pitts is, and I'm going to put a bracket coverage on the when he gets inside to make sure I've always got a couple of sets of eyes on him. They've got enough weapons, too, that limit your ability to go do that. But I think to minimize him, you've got to do 4 things today. When he does have his hand in the ground, he's on the line of scrimmage, you have to punish him. You've got to put bodies on him as much as you can, make sure he gets 0 clean releases, and make him feel your presence. When he's outside, you've got to ensure that you're matched up with your corners on him. If you ever get into a position with all that movement around that he does, where you've got the mismatch, you've got a linebacker or a safety on him, he will win that battle the vast majority of the time. And then when he is in the inside in those slot positions, you've got to be able to bracket and take away ultimately the middle of the field from him. So the quick slants where he can catch the football and do so much damage, you've got to force him outside and try to limit his production in between the hash marks. And then finally, has nothing to do with Pitts at all, you've got to be able to pressure Kyle Trask, only rushing 4 people. Mm-hmm. If we have to bring pressure in the likes of linebacker pressure or safety pressure today, and now you get one-on-one, not just with Pitts, but with their other dynamic receivers, it's going to be a long afternoon.
Well, that's interesting. One of the things I brought up to Kevin Butler and Jeff Lewis on the talk show on Thursday night after Coach Smart, they were our 2 All-Stars, Eric, was you remember last year against Joe Burrow when we got into the SEC championship game, we employed a drop 8 defense that Auburn had utilized successfully, even though they had lost by a field goal, but had utilized successfully in slowing LSU during the regular season. Obviously didn't quite work to the extent that we would have wished last year in the SEC championship game. And I said, would you do that again today and drop 8? And they said, no, I don't think you can give Kyle Trask that much time. So, basically what you're saying, and the other thing is, well, if you send 6, you're going to let them pick you apart. No. So what you're saying is it's got to be the 4-man rush that gets to him.
It has to be. If you can't apply pressure by rushing 4, now you can pick your spots to bring pressure, and you're going to want to do that throughout the game, but consistently, one of the big keys to this game is can our 4 rushers, down linemen, they're not all down linemen, one of them is going to be a linebacker in there, but can the 4 guys that are rushing, can they win that battle without having to have extra help? If they can, that plays into the advantage, if you will, for the University of Georgia.
Pitts has hauled in 7 of Trask's SEC leading 18 touchdown passes. Meanwhile, Swiss Army knife receiver Kadarius Toney also has 7 receiving TDs.
Yeah, he really stepping into his own with all the attention that you have to pay to Kyle Pitts. There's a void there for somebody to step into. We've been talking about it on our side of the football, on the other side of George Pickens, and who's that guy going to be? We had Kyrus Jackson step up. Well, Kadarius Toney is the one that stepped up for the University of Florida. He's filled that void in fine fashion. 22 receptions on the year, 297 yards. He's averaging 13.5 yards per catch, almost 75 yards per game. He is another weapon, and you get all of your eyes on Kyle Pitts. He has been able to find some wide open spaces, so another threat that can hurt you as well, and it's why this Florida offense is as dynamic as they are, because they've got playmakers that stretch beyond just one Kyle Pitts and one Kyle Trask. They've got guys that can run the football, other guys that can catch the football as well. They're one of the most prolific offenses right now in the college game.
Well, it's lovely weather. We have I wouldn't call it overcast, but mostly cloudy day, but still warm and breezy and really, really lovely day. We've had great ones here in Jacksonville over the years and not so great ones as well, and today is one of the nicer ones. All right, thank you, Eric. Number 5, Georgia. Number 8, Florida. We are 54 minutes from blood and sweat. The Tears, well, if all goes well, they'll start falling in the Florida locker room at about 7:15 tonight. Coach Smart gives us an exclusive inside skinny on today's SEC showdown that's in less than 10 minutes on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Georgia Farm Bureau Insurance was created in 1959 to provide financial protection for farmers and rural communities. Over the years, it has grown to protect all Georgians through affordable home, auto, and life insurance, helping Georgia build a strong agriculture industry and keeping the promises we made to our members. Our agents and members stand together for the values that make Georgia special: faith, family, and community. We stand together. We stand for you.
We are a Farm Bureau.
Geico presents Left Brain versus Right Brain.
We should switch to Geico.
I'm picking up what you're putting down, buddy.
We could save hundreds of dollars a year on car insurance.
Ooh, with that kind of scratch, we can get the band back together for a reunion tour.
A, we were never in a band. B, Glenn let us play the tambourine on stage one time. And C, we will, however, put that savings towards a new interview suit.
Look what I found. Huh? Still got it.
Oh, no.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Georgia football is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Now more than ever, it's important to support our local businesses, whether it's your favorite pizza place or your neighborhood barber. That's why I'm a proud member of Georgia's Own Credit Union. Georgia's Own has been serving our local community for more than 85 years. Whether they're saving you money on a checking account or credit card, or supporting the people, places, and teams that we've grown to love, Georgia's Own can't be beat. To learn more, visit their website at georgiasown.org. I'm Chuck Dowdle, and I'm one of Georgia's Own.
What if I could buy online at Discount Tire and get the same advice I get from the experts in the store?
You can. Our Treadwell Tire Guide finds the perfect tire for you based on your driving habits.
I want to save time and book an appointment online.
Book your appointment, get expedited check-in, and be placed at the front of the line for the next available bay.
And have the choice of never leaving my car when I get to the store.
The touchless experience. So simple.
It's genius.
Find out more at discounttire.com.
The Dogs play here.
Wow! Power straight ahead. Touchdown!
You're listening to the NAPA Tailgate Show.
Fromm in the pocket, pushed back. Now rolling back, throws it off his back foot, and oh my goodness! A circus catch! Is that Harrion? Holy smokes, diving to the turf. He tapped it up to himself and then caught it as he hit the ground in Florida territory.
What a sensational play by Brian Harrion and Georgia's triumph over the Gators last year. Our Dogs' last 3 meetings with Florida have all resulted in W's by a resounding average score of 34-14. Ooh, hang on right here. We got a quick commercial read. He's enraged. He's wacky. He's the action figure all the Florida kids want this Christmas. He's Angry Dan with his angry fans. Watch Dan charge at the refs. Watch Dan incite the fans. Wait, rewind. Watch Dan come out of the tunnel to fan the fans' flames again. Coronavirus, Dan don't care. Wants 90,000 in the stands. Don't be scared. He's a ruckus creator. He's the #1 Gator. He's dressed as Darth Vader. It's Irate Dan. Available at local retailers and online at GatorVader.com. Taxes may apply. Side effects may include exasperation, dry mouth, embarrassment, and a 3-game losing streak to Georgia. Void where prohibited. Batteries and protective masks not included. Okay, so Scott Howard, Eric Zier, Lauren
I used to watch
Smith.
that on Saturday mornings. Irate Dan.
Irate
right up there
Dan.
with Hong Kong Phooey.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Those were my favorites.
Johnny Quest and Haji, baby. The little dog bandit. Okay, we've got Scott and Eric and Lauren and Hondo with you. And gentlemen, the Gators seem to be losing it a bit. You know, Georgia's won 3 straight in the series, 6 of the last 9. The Gator Nation is collectively mad. And it just feels to me, Scott, that they seem to forget that Spurrier is retired and the East is no longer their sole domain.
Yeah, there are some other good teams in the division now. It's not a one trick pony anymore. But you know, this season it's kind of a two horse race, I guess. There's not a lot of competition below Georgia and Florida, so. I guess, you know, along your point about Florida being mad, I guess the fact that they're mad that they've lost this series the last 3 years, and you know, Georgia's been in the championship game for 3 years running, and they want to turn that around. They're not too happy with that, but you know, times change and coaches come and go, and this is a different era, as you point out. It's not Steve Spurrier anymore. It's Dan Mullen. He's got them playing pretty well. You know, they're. And this is their big test. What is this? Their 5th game? Their 4th game?
This is their 5th.
This is their big test for the season right now to see if they can get back to Atlanta.
Well, they have been frustrated, obviously, and they think they should be winning. But you know, things like this seem to be cyclical. I don't know what causes it. With Spurrier, he had the advantage. He recruited much better than we were recruiting at that time. That was a big difference in the series, plus the fact he focused on Georgia. He never won an SEC championship when he was a player, and we were the ones that got in his way, so he developed this great demeaning antipathy for Georgia, and he used it to get his team ready to play in the game, and he would do things, I think, with a focus that he wanted to win, and he not only wanted to win, he wanted to win and rub it in. So I feel like that time has changed. And now you're dealing with a coach, Kirby Smart, who wants to recruit on the level that doesn't matter who we play, we're going to be able to match up. And I just think while Stetson Benton is a great kid, he's not the ace of the staff kind of pitcher you get in baseball. And he's doing his best. He's giving us his heart, and we can't ask for any more. And maybe it'll work out today where they'll continue to be frustrated.
Yeah. Z, Lauren just mentioned, we were talking about Steve Spurrier, and he mentioned the recruiting and the focus on Georgia. Another thing was the guy was pretty darn good when the band was playing.
Yeah, there's no question. You look at the in-game adjustments that a Coach Spurrier was able to make. He brought really into vogue the fun and gun and throwing the football all around the yard. Now you see that week in and week out. Coach Spurrier was a difference maker for this Florida program. The way he recruited, the way he coached, and really got this game to a point where we have now flipped it, where the emotions for Georgia were so high, and yet with that great opening dialogue there with Irate Dan, that's almost how we came into every game. And the emotions got so high that one thing would go wrong, and because of all that emotion, it wasn't business-like. Things always seemed to work against us, or if something could go wrong, it would go wrong. That's really how it's been now for the University of Florida, and you hope that all of that emotion, all of that hatred that they're starting to feel and it starts to build up, that a game today, because of the way this is played out with all the Georgia injuries, Florida is a very fresh football team, both very good football teams. But right now, this is a game that Florida believes they can go win. But you get a couple of things in this game that go the wrong way. All of that emotion can actually work against you.
All right, take note, friends. Dan Mullen, 1-11 coaching all time against teams with Kirby Smart on the staff. That includes an 0-3 record when both are head coaches. 2 of those games here at Florida, one when Dan Mullen was heading up Mississippi State. Now to the game. Over the past half hour, we've spoken a lot about the task of Kyle Trask that awaits our Bulldogs defense today. On the other side of the ball, Georgia hopes that Stetson Bennett can work through his recent turnover flu and guide the Dogs' offense to success.
I'm real confident because I see what we do every day in practice with Stetson in practice and alignment and everybody else.
Samir White gives Stetson a vote of confidence. Still, fans wonder about opening day starter Dwan Mathis, as well as heralded transfer JT Daniels, who has yet to see game action in 2020.
Ultimately, we feel like Stetson gives us the best chance to win right now. And, Dwan gets a lot of work, a lot of reps, and competes really hard at that. If he continues to improve and shows us that he's the better guy, then he would be the guy up. Same thing with JT.
That's Coach Kirby Smart, and college football is the one institution where the best guy, the vast majority of the amount of time, is going to be the guy that is starting for you and the guy that is playing. And especially coming off of the bye week, the fact that Stetson Bennett was able to hold on to this position and the way he has played outside of the one half against the University of Alabama, really last week against Kentucky, that was a game that we should have run the football the vast majority of the time. That wasn't any kind of rebuke of Stetson Bennett and how he could go play. Stetson Bennett has earned the job. These other 2 guys, they've gotten a lot of reps. They're going to be ready to go if called upon. I wouldn't be surprised to see either one of those guys today if Stetson Bennett struggles at all. But the simple fact of the matter is the way Stetson's played, the way he's performed in practice, he has earned the job.
He's the guy of the 3 that we're talking about, and Carson Beck hasn't really been mentioned in that group as the true freshman, but Stetson is the guy that is the most familiar with Georgia's system. He's probably the best prepared to get Georgia's offense in the right play. I mean, his issue has been execution and taking care of the football, and Kirby's pointed that out. He's got to take better care of the football. He can't just aimlessly unload the football and have it up for grabs and with the threat of being intercepted. Those are some things that have to improve, but as the coach said, we just heard him say it, he's the guy they feel gives Georgia the best chance to win right now.
Well, they see something the rest of us don't see. For example, I have gotten a couple of texts from Aaron Boone, the manager of the Yankees, who went to Southern Cal. He's still well connected, and he sent me a text saying, "What's wrong? Why can't you guys play this guy? I've seen him play. He's a great talent." Well, Aaron Boone can't see what the coaches see.
Yeah.
And none of us can either. And the only thing that would put us in a position to know more and to disclose it would be if Kirby says, "Look, JT just ain't got it." He ain't going to tell us that, even if it's true. So we're in the dark, and there's no way it can be any other way, and we just need to let the coaches work it out.
Yeah, and Lauren was just using that as an example, folks. He wasn't saying that, okay? Very good. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Scott, take a look at these Florida warm-up jerseys. Could they make the numbers any smaller? And you know why they're doing that.
Well, that was an SEC rule that was issued this year. There's a slight change. Florida would come out. They did it last year. They came out in their warm-ups, and you didn't know who the guys were. So as we know that both teams are constantly looking at the field when the warm-ups begin to see who's here, who's available. They're trying to get personnel down intact. Both coaches' staff do that. Florida's in their identifier jerseys, and the numbers are very small, but they are wearing them. They are complying. So if you've got a good set of binoculars, you can see who's wearing what jersey.
Yeah, my guess is the league's going to come out with a new rule that's going to talk about the minimums. That's just ridiculous. Anyway, a couple of notes while Stetson Bennett has thrown 5 picks in the past 2 games, Florida, unusually after 4 games, has recorded only 1 interception this season. And how about Stetson on 3rd down? I'd say impressive at the season's midpoint. On 3rd downs, Stetson Bennett is 30 of 42 passing for 347 yards. That's a 71% completion rate. 4 of those passes have gone for touchdowns, but 2 have been intercepted. All right, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. We're 41 minutes from kickoff on the Bulldog Sports Network. All right, Scott will be back in 2 minutes with Coach Smart and an exclusive Inside Skinny on today's Top 10 showdown between our 5th-ranked Bulldogs and number 8 Florida as the NAPA Tailgate show continues on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
The Walton Gas Champions for Charity game is on. That means every time the Dogs win a regular season game, Walton Gas will donate $1,000 to these local charities: Camp Twin Lakes, the Salvation Army, the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. And for every bowl game the Dogs win, Walton Gas will donate $5,000. Everyone wins with Walton Gas. Always low rates, always great service. Put your game face on and be a champion for charity. Vote for the charity of your choice at waltongas.com/UGA.
Today's horoscope brought to you by Geico.
People will take note of your sunny disposition, Sagittarius. That's because you just switched to Geico and discovered you could save hundreds of dollars a year on car insurance. However, your newfound inner glow may prompt unfounded rumors. Did you get a promotion? Or you want a juice cleanse? Did they give you too much anesthesia at your dentist appointment? Your secret is safe with us, Sagittarius.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Don't go anywhere. The Dogs are coming right back. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Now more than ever, it's important to support our local businesses, whether it's your favorite pizza place or your neighborhood barber. That's why I'm a proud member of Georgia's Own Credit Union. Georgia's Own has been serving our local community for more than 85 years. Whether they are saving you money on a checking account or credit card, or supporting the people, places, and teams that we've grown to love, Georgia's Own can't be beat. To learn more, visit their website at georgiasown.org. I'm Chuck Dowdle, and I'm one of Georgia's Own.
You've got a great piece of land, ideal for hunting, but when it comes to managing that land, don't count on an ATV to do the job of a tractor. Massey Ferguson has reinvented what compact tractors can be and redefined what they do, making our tractors perfect for the cutting, hauling, digging, and plowing you need to do to create food plots and manage trails. Learn more at masseyferguson.us. See the newly designed Massey Ferguson GC 1700 and 1700 M Series today.
Counting you down to kickoff.
He goes down underneath. Big Short Davis crushed.
You're listening to the Napa Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
Play fake. Bennett sets up in the pocket to throw. Right sideline. They're tugging on the big tight end, but Darnell Washington fights off the defender, makes an over-the-shoulder catch right in front of us on the Kentucky sideline, and they pull him out of bounds at the Cats 31. Welcome back to the Bulldogs Tailgate Show. Georgia and Florida coming up. Coach Kirby Smart is here, and this segment is brought to you by Caterpillar. Our solutions help our customers build a better world. Coach, thanks for taking some time with us. Tell us about your week of preparation. Coming off that Kentucky game, you had a lot of injuries in that game. You had kind of a short week with no practice on Tuesday. What was it like for you?
Well, it was abbreviated. It felt like, it seemed like as soon as we got back from Kentucky, we were, starting off Florida really fast because we had to have some activity on Sunday. So we had done some pre-planning for Florida during the off week, and we spent a little time preparing for Sunday, knowing that we were going to have a quick turnaround. So tried to knock some Sunday stuff out well before and well in advance. And kids are fired up. We know it's always a great matchup when you play Florida, but when both teams are in the top 10, it makes it even that much more exciting.
We mentioned the injuries. Who do you have that is definitely out today?
Well, LeCount's out. He's out for sure. Julian's out. Who else? We got Kenny McIntosh is probably not going to be able to make it as well either. And then from there, we'll see on the rest.
A lot of these other guys, you're going to try to put them through the pregame warm-ups if possible, and
that's the hope.
Just see how it goes.
Yeah, it was game day decision for some of those guys, and we're hopeful to get them because we need the depth. And anytime you're playing in this game, the more guys you got that can play some quality snaps help you.
what were some of the things you wanted to work on this week as you get ready for Florida today?
Well, the biggest thing is it's a game week, so we're prepared for Florida. Defensively, they've got a really good team. Todd's got all his big guys back. They're massive up front. Thought they did a really good job against Missouri, controlling the line of scrimmage. They had some guys out in the secondary that they expect to get back today, and then offensively, they've been, one of the most high-power teams all year in the country. They've got really good playmakers and a quarterback that's very experienced. And then special teams, they've got a great unit there as well.
Georgia ran the ball well against Kentucky last week. Can you talk a little bit about the evolution of the running game and more confidence in it from you?
I would say so, yeah. I thought that Kentucky had a really physical front, and we did run the ball well, especially for Kentucky having some big guys. They have some big physical guys, but Kentucky's style of defense is very different than Florida's. So it's unique to Kentucky. They play a style of defense at least some of the time like we do some of the time. So our guys are a little more used to blocking the 3-4 front and odd front, and that's what we play in terms of our defense. So our offensive line is very comfortable playing against Kentucky because of that, and I thought we had some success because of the familiarity we have with them.
Can you talk a little bit about Zamir White's comfort level and how he's settling in and showing that he's a very strong runner between the tackles?
Yeah, I thought he was at his best against Kentucky. His yards after contact was what was impressive. We didn't always get great movement up front. We got a hat on a hat, but we didn't move them. And when you don't move them, sometimes the running back's got to, break a tackle or get an extra 2 or 3, and it's so much more beneficial when you're 2nd and 5 over 2nd and 7, as little as that is. But 5 yards a run is really huge, and I thought we did a good job of that.
The running game has been so dominant in this series. Usually the team that runs the ball best comes out with the victory. You mentioned that Kentucky last week's defensive front and running the ball against them a little bit different than it will be against Florida. Can you describe that a little bit and maybe what Georgia will have to do to play a team that is different against the run than what you faced last week?
Yeah, the number one thing, you're going to have to be able to throw the ball. I mean, because they play a 5-man front. They've got 4 or 3 300-pounders, 2 really good outside backers. Kentucky doesn't always do that. They leave some edges open. They leave some overhangs and give you some good run looks to maybe help out with the pass for them. Well, Florida doesn't do that. Florida plays a little more aggressive in your face. They did a really good job last year. If you look back, last year we had 3 offensive linemen that were drafted in the draft, and I don't know the exact stats, but we struggled to run the ball early. We converted 3rd downs, and we got some runs late in the game and loosened them up some. But I can recall the first couple drives, there was no movement, and we just couldn't generate run game. And you got to be able to do that really in any game. You got to be able to do it to an extent. But we'll have to throw the ball well today.
What are your thoughts on the Georgia's passing game right now?
Well, I'm ready to go see them play because I get to see them every day, and a lot of that's built on who's available, who's healthy, who's going to be able to play, and a lot of it is Stetson and the decision making he has. And you're going to have 50-50 balls. There's not going to be just wide open guys running around the way they play defense, kind of like playing us. You're going to have to beat somebody one-on-one, and we got to win some matchups.
Final thoughts before the Gators and the Bulldogs take the field here shortly?
Let's go find out where we are. Let's go play. Let's go roll it out there and have a good time and find out a lot about this team.
Kirby, thanks very much. We appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you. Go Dogs.
All right, that's Coach Kirby Smart. Hondo, we'll send it back to you for more of the Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
All right, thank you, Scott. Up here overlooking TIA Bank Field, and both teams warming up on the respective sides. No Bulldogs in one end zone and Gators in the other. It's usually red and black or red and white in one zone and orange and blue in the other. Jacksonville for the Jaguars are what's in the end zones here. We do not have the temporary stands set up because they do have a Jacksonville Jaguars game in this stadium tomorrow, and also because there are only 19,000 people here. So a different look here at TIA Bank Field. And before we take it to break, note for all the discussion of Kyle Trask and Florida's deadly aerial attack, the past 14 Georgia-Florida games have been won by the team that has rushed for the most yards. In the previous 98 meetings, Georgia holds serve with 53 wins, 43 losses. There have been 2 ties. In 2 minutes, we're going to come back and we're going to hear the greatest play in the history of the Georgia-Florida series. More from Jacksonville in 2 minutes, because we'll start swapping paint in about 31 minutes on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
It's bow time.
Grill out of gas on game day? Drop a big bow box on it. Feed a family of 4 with 8 pieces of chicken, biscuits, fixings, and tea with the Georgia Bulldogs Big Bow Box for $19.99.
It's bow time.
The Walton Gas Champions for Charity game is on. That means every time the Dogs win a regular season game, Walton Gas will donate $1,000 to these local charities: Camp Twin Lakes, the Salvation Army, the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. And for every bowl game the Dogs win, Walton Gas will donate $5,000. Everyone wins with Walton Gas. Always low rates, always great service. Put your game face on and be a champion for charity. Vote for the charity of your choice at waltongas.com/UGA.
The official Georgia football game program has gone fully digital and is now free to access. The paperback game program is no longer offered, so log on to georgiadogs.com/digital to get everything you need to know heading into this week's matchup against Florida. georgiadogs.com/digital.
This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Hey Bulldog fans, Coach Smart here. My friends at Georgia United Credit Union now offer Georgia Bulldogs Visa debit cards. Now you can show your team pride everywhere you go and spend. Pick your favorite design and score yours today. Georgia United makes banking easy, friendly, and smart for busy members like myself. Attack the day with a free checking account that pays big interest. It's the smart choice. Visit at gucu.org/Go Dogs for important account information. Insured by NCUA. Georgia United, the official credit union of Georgia Athletics.
I've enjoyed my web meetings because I only have to iron my shirt from the chest up. Neil Hondo Williamson here for my friends at Breda Pest Management. Breda seals up your entire home from critters from the foundation all the way to the roof line. And only Breda disinfects all that critter waste to give you back a clean, healthy home. The official pest control of your Georgia Bulldogs. Breda Pest Management. BREDA Pest.com.
Breda. No need to be afraid of bugs.
It's game day for the Dogs.
Throw into the end zone. Touchdown Pickens. Touchdown Pickens. Back right corner.
Let's rejoin the NAPA Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
Florida in a stand-up fire. They may or may not blitz. They won't. Buck back, third down on the 8. In trouble. Got a block behind him. Then a throw and a run. Complete to the 25, to the 30. Lindsey's got 35, 40. Lindsey's got 45, 50, 45, 40. Run, Lindsey. 25, 20, 50, 10, 5. Lindsey stop. Lindsey stop. Lindsey stop. You know, this game has always been called the world's greatest cocktail party. Do you know what is going to happen here tonight? And up at St. Simon's and Jekyll Island and all those places where all those dog people have got these condominiums for 4 days? Man, is there going to be some property destroyed tonight.
Tomorrow marks the 40th anniversary of that play. We renew the rivalry with the Gators in 27 minutes and 50 seconds. Our engineer here in Jacksonville is Tony Schiavone, assisted by Chris Schiavone and Adam Gillespie. Zach Jewell is our studio producer. For Scott Howard, Lauren Smith, and Eric Zier, this is Neil Hondo Williamson. Your Ford drive to kickoff with Scott, Eric, and Chuck Dowdle is right around the corner. Then it's the Dogs mano a mano with the Gators. 2 top 10 teams who know that today's winner builds a 2-game lead on the other as they race towards the SEC championship game. I'll talk to you again at halftime. This is the Bulldog Sports Network.